So I'll start, right? So I come from a very humble background where my dad is a real estate agent. He does a lot of property work.
How's that a humble background, bro? What the hell? I'm hearing, I don't know.
We're not like major money makers.
I've
but
known you
just
since
like,
7th grade, bro. I don't think you come from a humble background. What the hell?
I meant AI is going to replace all the coders.
Yeah.
What is going to be left behind is people who can think well and then ask the AI or instruct the AI to build it out like this.
So I was 130 kilos when I entered college.
Are you
So,
serious?
Yeah.
I used to code till 2 a.m. as an intern. Like my mom used to be like, I'll call your manager right now, come home.
How did Shark Tank pop up in the midst of all of this, right? Whose idea was this?
I was in Goa.
How many Goa trips do you take?
I
No,
Let's come to that. इसमें बात
He was
में
in
आते
Goa,
हैं.
I was in US.
Achha, these are easy 350s.
Yes.
Both
Both of us are wearing easy 350.
Yeah, so I'm like the static. That's the beluga.
And how much is yours for?
Roughly the same.
30k.
No. On Culture Circle, 21. Otherwise, 28. So on other platforms, a lot of these common shoes like Panda Dunks or Sambas are often out of stock or quite expensive.
Correct.
Or even Jordan 1 High is in a very popular color.
Yeah.
On Culture Circle, that's never the case. So whenever the company was not making a profit, we would not take salaries. Yeah, what I learned in 2 to 3 years of building the healthy company was exponentially more than what I learned in those 2 years of MBA. My parents still think I've made a career disaster by letting go of Goldman. They were like, तब Goldman कर लेता आज कहाँ था? I'm like 5 years down the line we do an IPO, they'll still be like, I don't know, maybe if you were in Goldman you'd be doing something else.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Dhairya Decodes Podcast. In today's episode, we're going to be joined by two young, dynamic, enthusiastic founders of the Culture Circle, none other than Devansh, Jain, Nawal and Ackshay Jain. Culture Circle is India's first hype and luxury app, and they have the world's largest collection of authentic drip where you can compare prices from verified sellers. Starting with Devansh, he, I think, ticks all the boxes when it comes to having like a epic career trajectory, a dream one. I'm not even kidding. He started off with studying at NSIT and he did his computer science engineering from there. Went on to actually also do internships at Goldman Sachs and Microsoft both. And then he also did his MBA in finance from IIM Ahmedabad with a 99.96 percentile in CAT, which I don't know when I'll get in life, probably. But what's most interesting is that that's not where he stopped, right? The unconventional path that he took was to actually go and become the founder of his previous startup called The Healthy Company, which is now acquired, which, by the way, Akshay and Devansh had also started together. They were in it for 6+ years, by the way, and now they have founded the Culture Circle, bagged one of the largest deals on Shark Tank India season 4. Coming to Akshay, he's had a very interesting journey himself too. He did his computer science engineering from Maharaja Agarsen Institute of Technology, Delhi. Went on to then also intern at great IT firms like Wipro and a lot more. And then the two of you obviously started the Healthy Company, did it for 6 years and now you're here. I want to actually start with knowing that what kind of family backgrounds do the two of you come from? Actually, and what kind of influence has it had on you doing what you do today? So I'll tell you the context why I ask you this. What I have noticed is whatever you go on to do and your motivations are is very linked to what you see around you in your childhood. But you'll only realize that if you think about it and you can actually track the dots backwards. For example, I'd want to know, what did you see most people like your parents, friends, their colleagues do while they were growing up? And do you think seeing people do a certain thing in their career, especially, or hearing your parents talk about something had an impact on the two of you?
Actually, you want to start?
I'll take this over.
And they're best friends, by the way, guys. 15+ years of friendship too.
Yeah, you're going to see a very fun podcast.
Yes, please, go on.
So I'll start, right? So I come from a very humble background where my dad is a real estate agent. He does a lot of property work.
How's that
Nice.
a humble background, bro? What the hell? I'm hearing, I don't know.
We're not like major money makers.
I've
but
known you
it's
since
like,
7th grade, bro. I don't think you come from a humble background. What the hell?
I meant
Maybe your definition of a humble background
Yeah.
is different.
it's a
Shit, I couldn't afford Jordan 1 highs back in 6th grade. I come from a very humble background.
Tough. I could see my
It
friends
was
wearing
rough.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's tough to not wear it in a DPS school.
By the way, I was from DPS too.
Oh wow. Which DPS were you from?
Pune.
Oh, that's so sad.
I know.
Like, there are so
Couldn't
many-
make it to RK.
Yeah, there's so many better DPS
I
around.
know.
It's okay. Probably next time. No, so where was I?
Humble.
You were at your humble
So
background.
no, so dad built like a first generation business, and how
Okay.
why I was quoting that was he was actually doing something else.
Huh.
He was like he was like a stockbroker, and then he realized that stockbroking is not the calling for him. After he'd gotten married, after he had 2 kids, he changed his business profession in the middle of his career age also. So at like 40, 45, he changed his profession.
Oh, wow.
And that's where I realized that if someone at that age has the capacity to do that, that takes a lot of guts.
Guts, it
like,
does.
For example, I would not ever do that.
Yeah.
So we grew up in, let's say, Green Park, and we shifted here in Gurgaon in 2000s. And that's where I get a lot of motivation from, that after having 2 kids and he was able to change his career,
Yeah.
and he's doing pretty well for himself. Like, see, he's had such a good son.
Yeah. Look at him.
And
Yeah.
the most motivating fact for me was my sister.
Okay.
So when my dad was in the middle of changing his career, so obviously we were not super well off.
Yeah.
So my sister was from scratch. She was a very studious kid. She was in the same school as me, deepest Gurgaon, and she went to a great college first, which is SSCBS in Delhi, DU, and then she got into an MBA, which is in Mumbai.
Yeah.
She got into Google, which she was the only candidate from her college who was
To make it into
selected.
Google.
Yes.
Wow.
And from Gurgaon, 2019, she got promoted and she shifted permanently to Mountain View. Like her husband, my brother-in-law,
Yeah.
also, they both met each other in
And-
office, they
yeah.
got married, and both of them got promoted at the same time,
Lovely.
doing Mountain View. They bought a house there. She's like one of the greatest motivating factors for me.
I'm sure looking at
Yeah.
her must be so inspirational.
Looking at
for
her,
you.
she actually built herself up from very limited resources
Yeah.
at a time where our family was going through a
Rough patch.
major rough patch or like a financial turmoil back then.
Yeah.
It was great that she could do that. And
Correct.
then when it came to me, to my mom, dad obviously wanted security. They're like, listen, this is the case. We have now finally built up. But in businesses, my dad has first-hand seen that businesses don't last. All businesses don't last. So he was a little scary. Ki, do you really want to do this? Be careful. But when I started the healthy company, he gave me full support. If you have finally decided to do this, go for it and don't think twice.
Wow.
So I kept both of them as my role models, and touch wood to say that I have finally seen that yes, we can do some good factors here.
Wow, man. That's really inspirational. I love the fact that you said that when you looked at your sister, even though she was doing a job, there was so much inspiration to draw from because she
Right.
actually made it up there with limited resources, like
Right.
you mentioned. And your dad doing what he did at the age of 45, being a career coach, it takes guts. Half of the people can't do it, right? Because
Yeah.
you also have that stigma. What will people say?
Right.
How will you provide for your family? Why are you doing this?
Right.
That's very
I think
normal.
when you're married and when you have kids, like your risk-taking
Risk potential,
appetite
yeah.
also decreases,
True.
right? Because
Opportunity cost also.
yes,
Yeah.
because you're thinking like 100. You have 100
100
things to
things to-
manage.
True.
So you don't take risks and you try to just grow in the field you
Yeah,
have.
yeah.
That's where I got like my inspiration key. Take risks. Like, don't think twice about it. Everyone who is there to support you will support you. Everyone who's not going to support you, then they were never there to support you regardless.
Right.
Like, they were never close to you.
So these stories and seeing your father and your sister has definitely had an impact on you
100%.
choosing what you have.
100%.
What about you, Devansh?
Yeah, so I think for me, quite the opposite. So,
You don't come from Andhra Pradesh.
No. That's not what I meant. Like, in terms of the impact and influence.
Okay.
So, like, both my grandparents, they were government doctors. Both my parents are doctors. And,
Oh.
yeah. So, like, again, doctor family.
Very studious family.
Through and through, correct.
Hence the track record. Okay.
And,
Now I know.
no, and I'm an only child. Yeah.
Single child.
Single child, correct.
Right.
So actually, I'd seen my parents come in. So they had their own private practice. Now they have their own hospital. So I'd seen them really grind out, build from nothing. So when we, for example, came to Gurgaon,
Yeah.
something as simple as say even affording a bed took us 6 months. Right. And it's just because like they were building it out. They were reinvesting everything into their own clinic, private
Right.
practice, building everything. Right.
Yeah.
And so seeing all of that journey, by the time I was, say, in my second, third year of college,
Yeah.
I had zero inclinations towards entrepreneurship. To be very honest, I would be very inspired seeing those other stories. You know, I was always into autobiographies, for example, and seeing documentaries, whether it's Elon, Phil Knight, Shoe Dog, etc. So I was very inspired by it, Steve Jobs. But
What was the vision then, though? If you didn't want to be an entrepreneur,
yeah, like
just doing a.
any fulfilling sort
Job?
of profession. Yeah, any fulfilling profession
So
I
you were
wanted to do.
open to doing a job, though.
100%. I
okay.
used to look forward to it. I
Nice.
had zero inclinations that entrepreneurship is something I want to do
Got it.
as such, right?
Yeah.
So it's that, and also the fact that in fact I did not become a doctor primarily because of the reason, even though I loved biology, I believe I would have been a decent doctor. But the only reason I didn't become a doctor was I thought it'd be such a limiting career path because I would anyway just have to go in and sort of take over the reins or whatever they've built in terms of.
But did your parents never want you to kind of take over? And
They
do
did,
this?
they did, right? But
Yeah.
I thought if I actually end up doing that now, so no matter what I achieve in life after that,
He'll
it'll,
always be accounted to.
yeah.
Get
It'll,
attached to them, no?
it'll always be attached to them saying that, oh, of course he had it easy. Of course, it was a cakewalk for him. So
True. Yeah.
that was the only thing that prevented me from becoming a doctor was I did not want an asterisk next to say whatever success I get, right?
Got it.
So which is why, yeah. So I had no as such preconceived notions or inclinations that I want to go for, say, become an entrepreneur or start
Yeah.
something of my own
Yeah.
going into college, right? Yeah, but eventually what I realized is this is actually after my internship. So the one thing I did quite well is right from the first year of my undergrad, I would constantly engage in internships of all kinds that I could get.
Yeah.
And eventually going there, I realized I'm actually a very good employee. So I realized that
But how do you
Define it.
who said you're a good employee?
So all my managers loved me because they'd be like, the volume of output and work that you get done
Yeah.
in frankly, like, let's say 3 hours,
Very limited amount of
very
time.
limited amount
Yeah,
of time, would be sort of more impactful than a lot of the other permanent team members, right? And then
And you
that,
were an intern, not even an employee back
correct,
then, right?
correct. And that instilled
Yeah.
so much confidence in
In
me.
them. Your potential is what they would
Yeah,
have
yeah,
recognized.
and that instilled so much confidence in me that, oh, if I am capable,
Mm.
let me just try and think of doing something for myself.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because I really missed one of the things growing up, which is, say, if you are, say, employed somewhere, right? On a certain level, the moment you're out of office, it's a Sunday or it's a Saturday, you're tuned out on a certain extent, right? Matlab, office mein, if there's a fire, someone else is going to manage it.
True.
My parents never had that. We never had that growing up at home because it was always their private practice. Every issue would be their issue. I would see them wake up at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the night if a patient is critical.
Doctor's life is, yeah.
Correct.
I mean, it's very tough.
And when it's your own setup, what
Yeah.
is amplified is all the legal liability, etc. is on you.
Right.
So you have to be
That's on top of
you have
everything
to be
else.
that's-
available 24/7 also.
correct
Yeah.
Yeah.
for all fires, to put out all fires. So I really did not admire that part about having something of your own, which is why I was always more inclined that, if I'm at least employed somewhere.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
And
I'd
look
probably-
at you today.
Yeah.
And then you
What
are
a-
employing people.
That's what. So again, 360 from there.
360, yeah.
But eventually I realized, my managers would tell me that, you have that streak in you wherein you want to do new things, etc. Even
And
during
you
my
enjoy
internships.
coding? You like
Yes. So
And I'm assuming you were good at it too.
yeah. So we really loved development, right? So
Building
Did it
stuff.
come naturally to you? Both of you. Because I'll tell you why I asked this. Most of the folks who also follow me are from engineering colleges because I'm an
Okay.
engineering graduate myself. And even if they don't want to or they like coding per se, as you know, their mom, dad, society, or friends, everybody is like, get into an MNC, get a high paying tech
Correct.
job.
That's the
And
current,
even if
yeah.
unko maut aa rahi hai,
Hmm.
they will do it because everybody is saying that's the only way. That is what I was told to, by the way. The narrative that was fed to me was you are ruining and jeopardizing your career by getting into a consulting firm and preparing for these management jobs in like a top private engineering college instead of getting into like a Microsoft, Google, and we had like what,
God.
800 companies come on
Yeah.
campus.
I see their line of reasoning though.
Yeah.
They're not entirely wrong.
No,
What?
because
you
at
believe
that point of time, engineering and medical was taking off, right? For them, it was
4
safety.
years ago,
Oh,
what
okay.
changed?
4 years ago. Yeah.
No, even 4 years
4 years
ago.
ago, I graduated, matlab.
Yeah.
So this was 8 years ago. No, what I'm trying to get to is if coding doesn't come to somebody naturally,
They
or they
should
feel
not
like,
do it at all.
okay.
They should not do it.
I think that's true for
But why
life.
did we built as a skill? That's my question.
Now it can't because anyway, AI is going to replace all the coders.
Yeah.
What is going to be left behind is people who can think well
Hmm.
and then ask the AI or instruct the AI
Hmm.
to build it out like this.
Hmm.
Coding for me particularly, I honestly, my mother and father never pushed me towards engineering. I naturally picked it up around the 6th grade.
So it was your decision.
Yeah, it was my decision
Got it.
completely. I loved to build stuff.
That's a
I
different
just
story.
went
Matlab,
online,
you had
yeah.
that in
Yeah,
you.
yeah, for sure. But
Got
like
it.
if somebody does not like coding, no, they should definitely not do it because AI will anyway replace these
Good that I
quotas.
didn't do it.
No,
I
it's
made the right
good.
And
decision.
yeah, and there's always going to be someone else who is
Yeah.
passionate about it, who's always going to be better. So like I feel in life, like all your returns, come from compounding on your unique
True.
skill set.
Yeah.
And if you're not into it, there's always going to be a bunch of people who really like
Who'll
it.
do better than you.
Who'll
will.
do better.
Who'll naturally be better.
True
Naturally.
for any field whatsoever.
Exactly.
But at least you should have like either it's a overlap between skills, passion, and money. If
Correct.
at least two of those circles are being
Coincide.
fulfilled,
Yeah.
Exactly. Then it's meaningful. If
Otherwise-
all three coincide,
Then nothing like it.
Then nothing.
Yeah.
like
So
it.
for me,
Easy guy spot.
yeah.
In
So
a
for
way.
me, in a way, coding, why it became important, right?
Yeah.
Is I believe like I would have been an artist in some other life, but I was not gifted at all. So I tried my hands at guitar, music, art, everything. I was just terrible at it. So coding and like building out, say, websites and apps was the first time I could actually create something and see something come to life and it was actually not bad. So that is what really gave me the kick, and there was a very rapid
Probably
feedback
you
loop.
like building things from scratch and seeing it come to life.
Correct.
Right?
Yes,
Correct.
That's a good kick. You get.
Yeah, it's
So
good kick
that's
for
a
sure.
Coding for me is as close as it gets to art,
Yeah.
for example. So that's why I look at it that way.
Yeah, you're
building
developing like a product or a platform from scratch, and then you can
Exactly.
see it live
Yes,
and
you can see
users
it
use
live.
it. You get
Exactly.
user feedback.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
true.
that's what art is as well, right?
Yeah.
Artists want their art to be
True.
seen by
Seen by
people,
people.
appreciated.
Yeah.
So that's what
So it
actually
came closest
Correct.
to what you wanted to
correct,
do.
Hmm.
Which
correct,
you failed at doing, but that's okay.
correct.
That's why you landed up here.
Yeah. So that's how coding came to me naturally.
Right.
And since then, the thing with us though is once we got into it, we've been building out hackathon projects since probably like the 8th grade. So we in 8th grade we
Yeah.
built out a game.
You guys met through your parents being family friends?
No, same class.
Same class.
You were in the same class in
Since
school.
I think the 6th or 7th grade, we were in the same
7th
class.
grade, yeah.
Got
We
it.
used to get like the same percentages in classes, whatever. What is it? Exams? Or something?
Yeah.
We got like 93.6. He was trying to flex, and I was like, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
I also have the same percentage.
Yeah. So stuff like
You
that.
guys
So,
are competitive in general. I've always been competitive.
No, it's not a competition. The other
No,
person
no,
is
between
like
the two
a
of
very
you.
weak.
In
competition.
general, as individuals, do you think you are competitive?
Yeah.
super.
Super?
Very
Hyper competitive.
Yeah,
It's
that's the
good to
reason
be
you gave an
competitive.
exam like CAT, right?
So
Yeah, I'm sure.
no, actually, I'll tell you. So, cat, I
We'll
just-
come to that
yeah,
later.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's
I have very fun stories to tell about the
yeah,
cat.
that's
story.
a different,
we'll have to.
Cool,
back
we'll come to it.
different story altogether.
Why don't you now tell me the two of you?
Hmm.
So now we know how you met, your family backgrounds, and what the early days were like, right? And both of you were super into coding, developing things. Both of you did like internships in tech as well. How come the two of you, both of you decided not to take up like a full-time job and directly jump into entrepreneurship?
I forced him.
Ah.
So there's
that
there's
Did
not
anybody tell you what you're doing is wrong?
yeah, everyone.
Everyone?
Yeah. So
like, why would someone leave a very high-paying
High-paying-
PPO
Yeah.
right out of college? Like, I think I received for like 14. He had gone for 18 from Goldman.
So I'll tell you, basically there's been a few pivotal life decisions wherein I've just basically forced Akshay out of FOMO to make that decision. So one was changing schools back in 11th grade.
Hmm.
And I changed my
yeah.
schools and I literally forced him to change schools. I was like, you're missing out. This is 10x better, this, that. He changed schools. Then, yeah. So,
Okay.
and then, so how our first venture actually started was,
Yeah.
again, I wasn't looking to start up. So it was actually a competition in Brazil wherein you're supposed to solve for health and food.
Okay.
And the idea, I called him, I was like, bro, there's this competition. I
Huh.
know we can win it.
Huh.
And if we win it, we'll get an all expenses paid trip to Brazil for
So that
2
was
weeks.
your motivation.
Imagine the fun we'll have.
That was
Wow.
a motivation to do a project. Never start a company. Like, that's
Yeah.
So you never thought it'll turn out to
Yeah,
be
Correct.
It's
like
just a project.
We
were
want to
planning.
go to Brazil and chill. Like,
Chill.
honestly,
Yeah,
we're a
that's
third
like,
year of
wow.
college. I was like,
Third year of college.
when will we
all
get this
like,
opportunity?
Brazil.
How better can it get?
correct,
Sure.
correct.
Yeah.
And I knew that we need tech. So me and him can probably
Partner.
build out the tech.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that was the idea. And eventually that project then failed.
Okay.
But sparked the idea that led us to an insight about our first venture. And that's how just things have built up.
But were you guys like health, fitness, tech enthusiasts? You both were.
Hmm.
Were you health enthusiasts in general or interested in the field of health and technology?
Yeah, we were forced by nature.
We were bullied
because-
by peeps, and then we forced.
So I was 130 kilos when I entered college.
Are you
So
serious?
yeah. So I'll show you. Like
He
put
was
up
like,
before
there
after.
were
Like
like there were like
transformation.
3
I'll
Devansh's sitting here.
share pictures. Just put it up. It's like
Oh
130 kilos
God.
me. Yeah. So I had personally
This is
lost,
inspirational, yeah.
and that also forced him into losing it. I'll tell you. So we were both very fat. Then I lost weight in my first year of college. I lost like 50, 60 kilos. And then I called him. I'm like, bro, you need to do this. It's a different world. Once you do this, then he started losing weight. And
I
that's,
think he has gotten you into FOMO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got me into FOMO. Like,
I
oh
can see
wow.
a clear-cut pattern. being
Yeah,
made.
you have to do this. Wow, it's better.
it's very easy to control Akshay that way.
Or we can also say probably Devansh is a great,
Yeah.
great.
Like,
I don't want to use the word.
No,
Picture.
Devansh basically
Picture.
Devansh can't do things alone, so he needs a partner in crime.
Yeah.
Better than you
हाँ,
every
कि
time.
अगर life खराब करनी
Yeah,
है,
I
तो
need someone to say yes.
Yes. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So you lost 50 kilos of weight,
Correct.
and then
Then I forced him to like basically do the same.
cool.
And that sparked like some health, and because we work out together often as well.
Oh.
And that was something in the back of our heads that it's a different world once you sort of do that.
Right.
And then when a project failed, it was regarding food and health and like sustainability.
So in that
But-
competition, you guys didn't win or something.
No,
So
we
only I
didn't
think-
get to go to Brazil. So
Ah.
top 3
5,
teams
top 3.
globally were going. We were ranked 12 globally.
Got it.
So we missed it just like
Yeah,
nearly,
right.
but we were
Just
like,
like
fair.
this, just
Yeah.
like-
yeah.
So this was about the 3rd year of college. So eventually, like, this came into play.
Yeah.
We realized there was a better scope in India to at least take this project forward.
ठीक
And
है.
hence, the healthy company transpired.
Got it.
Like, we got incubated in NSIT as well.
And
So-
that also I'll tell you. So of course, see, we both had great placements straight out of a college, right? And my parents and his parents too would just never allow us to give that up.
Hmm.
Because like, why would you do that at this stage, right? They were like,
Mm.
even if you want to do something of your own, just
Mm.
work for 2-3 years.
And then
and
get to it.
It's
yeah.
a very
Yeah.
rational decision. Work
True.
for 2-3 years, get some
True.
experience under your belt. Then eventually, if you feel like doing it, do it. So it was a very fair argument.
Yeah.
And my only counterpoint was, okay, but if by the time we graduate,
Huh.
right, this is third year end year.
Ending.
Hmm.
So we had like 6 to 8 months
Okay.
barely before we had to like give our confirmations for joining. So like by that time, before we graduate,
Hmm.
if you're able to make more money from this venture
Than your LPS.
then our
Than
L-
your
then
annual
our
salaries
yeah
that you're
then our
gonna draw.
then our salaries that we're going
Huh.
to draw, then you
What
have to
confidence, man.
yeah then you have to allow us.
That was a
But
milestone
it's a
we
very
set
fair-
for us also.
Yeah, but
Ki
that
if
would
we have to make it,
Huh.
at least beat what we have in our hand right now.
Correct. Makes
Like,
sense.
I think I'll call ourselves lucky that we did it in 3rd year and we got that chance.
We got that chance.
Lucky.
Like I don't think we're at least at that point I don't think we were the people who were having the most risk appetite, to be very honest, right?
Mm.
Typically
Got it.
it's a very cliche.
Yeah.
If you're a founder, entrepreneurs, you're wired to take a lot of
do
risk.
that, yeah.
Now I'm like that. Now
Yeah.
I love the game.
Yeah.
But at that point, not
You're
at all.
not built for it at that time.
Yeah.
Didn't even have any inclination,
Got it.
frankly, right?
Yeah.
So the only yardstick was, okay, how do we convince our parents? Because we were having a ton of fun doing it. That was the only thing.
Mm.
I was like, I've done Goldman, 3
Yeah.
months, great experience.
Yeah.
But I would be dragging myself to the office and I would complete my work in 3 hours just so that I can get out of
Get
the
out.
office
Yeah.
and chill in Bangalore.
Yeah.
That was my motivation. That here we would spend days and nights not realizing how the time
Yeah,
is
work
passing
didn't
by.
feel like work, right?
Correct.
When
Exactly.
you don't get tired and
Correct.
you're enjoying the process, every bit of it
And
is so
we
addictive.
were learning so much.
Yeah.
I was like, I had no idea
Yeah.
about all of these things, whether it's taxation, trademarks, like everything we're learning about.
Accounting, books,
Yeah.
everything. Like, this was so new and this was so fun. Like, I could see, oh wow, what credits and debits are. What is
Yeah,
cash
yeah, yeah.
flow.
But you did an MBA in finance. Did that
So
not?
this is in undergrad, no?
Acha, haan, this was healthy.
Undergrad.
There's nothing. We
You
were
didn't
just-
know that. Yeah.
We were just
Mm.
engineers by then,
Right.
and they don't teach you anything in
Yeah,
engineering
yeah,
college,
they
frankly,
don't
right?
Ask me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the idea.
They
That
don't teach you what you need. They need to fundamentally.
I don't know
teach
what
you.
they
I don't
teach
know what
you.
they do.
Undergrad, though, I think it's very
NSIT is good, yeah. Is what I've heard. Come on.
no, it's a great college.
It's a great.
but
My cousin brother graduated out of.
yeah, I mean,
NSIT too.
it's a great college. It's a good brand, but like education is missing. Yeah, it's the same.
Their
everywhere,
placements
even-
are good though. I've heard.
yeah. So that's if placements is your yardstick. That
Yeah.
way, it's very sorted.
Yeah.
But apart from that, it's the education. There is nothing.
God.
So we were learning just a ton more.
Hmm.
And that's why I think it felt like the right thing for us to do, because we could instinctively feel that if we are learning 20 times more doing this
Mm.
than say in our day jobs, it probably is the right path. But how do we convince everyone of that? So we were like, okay, money is a very objective indicator as to how much we can bring
India
in.
में मम्मी पापा को मनाना है तो पैसा ही
पैसे ही
दिखाना
दिखाना
Correct.
पड़ता है,
So we gave ourselves that target
Yeah.
and we made sure we did everything to make that happen.
And you
That's
did it in a year, both of you.
And I'll tell you how we
Roughly.
did it.
Yeah.
All growth hacks. We used to go to like exhibitions, Diwali melas, and sell our products
Yeah.
just so that we can get in enough cash flow to show them
Oh my
that
God.
okay, here I'd be earning say 2 lakhs in hand per
Right.
month. I'd be getting
Right.
in my company. We're each making like 2 lakhs per month in profit enough, so that we're able to convince them that financially at least it's the same
Same thing. Yeah.
decision, and then
that
they
too without funding. Like that was
Huh, it
completely
was bootstrapped. Yeah.
correct.
Whatever
correct.
money we got as
True.
pocket money from our parents,
Yeah.
we used to put it in. So that was like completely bootstrapped. It was proving to the parents, but proving to us also
Yeah.
that this can be a viable thing.
Yeah, you got the
Even
validation
after,
it needed.
even after like learning shit tons,
Yeah.
at least we can make it a viable business opportunity.
Yeah, but like best
Pretty
decision in retrospect. Like at
Yeah.
that point, we didn't know what we were doing.
Hmm.
But there was also this novelty factor. So I have that itch in life. If everyone's going in a particular direction,
Mm.
let's try the opposite.
Opposite. Yeah, yeah. I
Because
have that.
we-
I don't want to do what everyone's
Yeah,
doing.
the
I'll never do that.
uncharted
Yeah.
path.
The unconventional path, the road
Yeah.
has taken.
I feel it
Yeah.
gives you non-linear returns in life.
It does. If you want exponential returns
Exponential growth.
and disproportionate outcomes, you have
And
to.
I think everyone wants that, no?
Why not?
Like,
No, but there's
Yeah.
a pro and con. Like, it's a good thing if we want exponential returns, but with that comes exponential amounts of risks also.
True.
So if you want to go linear in life like this, you will have safety and security. But if
Hmm.
you want to have exponential returns, be ready for the risks also.
True.
yeah, you're gonna fail a lot. It's gonna
Be
Yeah.
take
ready
a,
for the downfall at times too.
Yes,
it's gonna take a
100%.
hit on your
Like, assume
self-confidence,
that,
anxiety,
A lot of
stress, everything is
you'll
gonna
be
it's a
working nights and days, like you will have to give in everything. And potentially after 5, 10, 15, 20 years.
It may or may not translate
Correct.
to what you imagined.
Correct. So for
Got it.
example, right now also we take salaries, right?
Yeah.
It's not like a very competitive salary we would have made if we were an SD3 at this point.
we'd have
in
made
time.
Yeah.
3x. for
Yeah, yeah,
example.
Yeah, we would have
For
made
sure.
3x. But the bet we are taking is that Culture Circle potentially in the 5, 10
5,
years
10 years.
would do an IPO.
Right.
And that's where we earn our, let's say, fair share of
yeah.
work we're putting in today.
Correct.
That's a risk we're taking.
Right.
That's the point. For example, in EY also,
Hmm.
I used to code till 2 a.m. as an intern. Like my mom used to be like, I'll call your manager right now, come home. I
And
realized
this
that-
was in Greater Noida. He lives in Gurgaon for
Oh
context.
my
Yeah,
God.
yeah,
So you had
yeah.
to travel back too.
yeah. I got my manager called up by my mom.
These big fours. huh?
Yeah, no, but that's when I also realized that I don't mind working till 1, 2 a.m. But
As long as-
I'd not like that I was working till 1, 2 a.m. on a project which was not gonna incrementally help me. I was
Hmm.
working for my manager who was working for EY, who was working for Maruti.
And maybe
Hmm.
2 years later, that
Your
project
client
will
was
get
Maruti,
deployed.
no?
Yes.
Huh.
So I was building for a manager who's building for his partner, who's building for Maruti.
another. Huh.
So there was no direct impact I was making if I was working till 2 a.m.
Hmm.
And the next week I was working for the healthy company and मैं आराम से 4 बजे तक काम कर रहा था. Then I realized that was an incremental switch for me.
Hmm.
Yeah, I might as well do this. I love putting in hours. I love putting in the work, but I'd rather do
The
it. for
hustle
a-
was not the problem,
Yeah.
but who you were doing it for is what you
For,
discovered.
yes.
It was better to do it for
Yes.
us.
And you see the result. So I'll tell you why that
Yeah.
sort of works, no? Because
Yeah.
you see the result in the next day or the next week and the next month. It's
the
very
impact is right there.
yes. So the
Yes.
feedback loops are so rapid
yeah,
when you're
true,
doing
true,
something.
True.
You
Hmm.
naturally get wired if that's something that drives you.
Hmm.
Because for me, outcome is a very big thing, right?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
input is important, but
Yeah.
I need to see some outcome as well. Otherwise, I'd get demotivated.
Hmm.
And doing something on your own, the outcome is so instant. You know the next day.
Hmm.
If you've put in less effort on a particular day, you haven't done your fair share of work. That also reflects the
Reflects
very
it.
next day.
Correct.
So it's
True.
positive and negative,
Negative
both.
both. Yeah.
But I need that to keep me going.
Hmm.
So
That
if-
kick is needed.
yeah,
is
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Yeah.
If I was say in a big 4 or in the big 3 consulting,
Yeah.
I'd be oh, you work on this project. Maybe 6 months later it gets deployed.
Yeah.
12 months later, maybe you get to see the result
Right.
or not. If they decide to not
Not,
deploy it,
yeah.
I would not put in a single hour of work. Like that's just how lazy I am as an individual. So I need that rapid feedback loop.
Okay, got it. No, I want to ask you a very interesting question now that we've come to this point. When you started working on this and you were able to prove to your parents that we're making probably more and equal the amount that we would
It
get
was
in
just
hand.
equal, just by
Just
the way.
equal.
Just equal.
Just equal.
Yeah.
It was God's plan. And they probably, I'm assuming, got convinced and then they let you pursue it.
Hmm.
Tell me, if you can just both of you summarize what did the 6+ years at the healthy company look like? And what was the journey like of scaling it from a 0 to 1 and then 1 to obviously when it got acquired as a company? And your learnings as first time entrepreneurs, because you're serial entrepreneurs now. I'm not going to call you entrepreneurs, right? It's your second venture now. So tell me a little bit about that journey and bit.
Sure. So I think serial entrepreneurs makes me feel so old.
Yeah.
First,
That's okay.
Like,
Young
I just
serial
recognized it.
entrepreneurs, let me have the
You
word
said
young.
serial
Yeah, I was like,
entrepreneurs,
shit.
wait.
You are.
Are we
Is that
old now?
true?
Is it true?
No, I
I think after.
Serial entrepreneurs for me.
we are still the young 19-year-old founders.
Sure,
Except
sure.
Yeah, so I'll tell you. So for the healthy company, right?
Yeah.
Particularly, looks like a 6-year journey, but the main part of it was actually 2.5 years. So
Okay.
2020 May we graduated,
Right.
and till 2022 end is pretty much when we were very very hands-on involved in the healthy
Got it.
company,
Got it.
right? So after that, then the exit, everything started
Right.
panning
right,
out.
Right.
So I'll tell you, those 2.5 years, in terms of the learnings I have to unpack, no, it's probably 15 years of like learnings just compressed in those 2.5 years, and it's across the spectrum.
Hmm.
So as we said, right, whether it's legal troubles and legal issues that we had
Yeah.
to deal with. First time we got sued by the consumer court because a customer didn't receive their order in time. A customer got their
So
order
they can
4 days
sue you.
late. So
they can raise a complaint.
they raised the complaint and the consumer court
forum.
sued us. And we were panicking,
Yeah.
for example, as to, okay,
How to
what
navigate through
will
this
we go
one?
to
Yeah.
jail?
Yeah.
We're to
And
what,
my
22-year-olds?
response to Devansh was, fuck it, let's go to jail. We'll get pumped up and we'll build abs.
Yeah, some Bollywood fantasy we had.
You will build abs out. Like, what is the harm if you go to jail for like 1 year?
So yeah, so right from there
Hmm.
to say managing people, at times even hiring and managing people who are older than you.
Hmm.
For
Yeah,
example,
that's a very
very tricky.
tactful thing to do.
We're 22-year-olds. I'm managing someone who's 25.
Yeah.
Even that equation.
Yeah.
Felt
That's
very-
tough. And
Yeah.
it's tough to gather respect also from everyone who's older.
Do you
too,
think
right?
people don't take you that seriously when you're young founders?
100%.
Yeah.
You have the bar for execution and demonstrating and commanding their respect is a lot higher.
Hmm.
Is what I'd put it. It's not impossible,
Hmm.
but you need
But
to.
then when does it stop affecting the equation? Like when is it that it doesn't matter then?
So
to
once
most of the employees.
if they think you're competent,
Ah.
it comes to that. So if in say their field, right,
Hmm.
you're giving them feedback that is very critical, well thought out, and is helping them improve.
Hmm.
That's how
Then
you,
they'll.
that's how you gain the
Okay.
respect.
Hmm.
And I think that's the right way anyway.
Work ethic also, no? For example, if we are 22, 23, if we are, for example, coming late to office or like...
They're gonna
like
mirror what you
not
do,
attending,
obviously.
Yeah.
That's proving their point that we're just young, spoiled founders, right? But what we
Uh.
used to do is we were the first ones in, last ones out. Not obviously all the
Not
days,
all
as
the
in an
time, yeah,
ideal
obviously.
situation.
Yeah.
But we genuinely felt that we owe it to them.
Hmm.
If they're working in a company which is being led by young founders,
Yeah.
they should have at least enough trust in us, if not the company first.
True.
They should at least feel these two guys will do their best to make
Yes.
sure
Make sure. Yeah.
we get our payroll in time, we get our growth. Because they're also taking a bet working in a startup.
For
right?
sure.
And the
Yeah.
kind of talent we want to have in our company is the kind of talent who's not out there actively looking for jobs anyway. So that's
yeah.
the talent we
Yeah.
want to have,
Yeah.
right? So if we're asking something of that, they can get jobs at much larger startups or much more well-established companies. If they're taking that bet,
Hmm.
the least we do is we promise them the kind of exponential growth that'll come
And they
with
can get.
with an early stage.
Healthy company was started out of Gurgaon as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were based out of Gurgaon.
Correct.
How many people did you have in the beginning versus by the time the acquisition happened?
In the beginning, I think it was just the two of us.
And
Plus a couple of interns.
Couple
from
of
the society.
interns.
Got it.
Marketing.
For the first year.
Yeah.
Right.
And then 2020 June is, I think, when we raised July. 2020 July.
Hmm.
On my birthday, we got a term sheet. That's I remember.
Oh, nice.
So that's when we raised our first round of VC funding.
Nice.
This was also when we graduated in May and July. We're raising around. So that's what really comforted
yeah.
sort of the parents
Parents,
as
yeah.
well. That okay, there are other people who are
Who
willing
also
to
believe
back
in
these
your idea
guys.
and back,
yeah.
back you up.
So
yeah.
कुछ तो कर ही रहे होंगे ठीक,
कुछ
even
तो
though
सही
they
कर ही
didn't
रहे
get it.
होंगे दोनों.
Correct. So that was the thought
Yeah.
process.
Nice.
That's when we actually finally got to hiring a proper team.
Hmm.
Before that, it was like even all the customer service was me and Akshay doing that. And that was one of the most rewarding experiences. Even though, even if a customer has had an unpleasant experience,
Hmm.
just getting on call with them, what we learn,
Hmm.
right? About how people behave, what drives them, what motivates them, was just so different, right? And so refreshing. And it was small things like these that we'd learn on a daily basis that would actually continue to drive us.
And
Right.
that too across departments. I mean, doing customer service, doing some bit of design, doing some bit of, let's say, marketing.
Yeah.
I had no idea what is meta ads.
Yeah.
Just sitting down, oh wow, I can just increase a budget like this. And this is like how campaigns and variations are made.
Yeah.
Wait, a red color gets me better purchases than a blue color.
Correct.
How is that even
Just
possible?
the color psychology and how
Yes.
consumers react to
So I
it
think
as well.
that
Yeah.
definitely was intriguing, and
True.
like at least why that was the reason why we were able to put in effort, because maze aate the. That was
Maze
the end of
aate
the
the,
day.
yeah.
And you were able to see impact, like you said. Ki instantly you would see what are the number of purchases coming. This design which we ideated and made last week has finally been published and we're getting purchases. Oh, the customer is giving us good feedback because of this ops we fixed. Now the deliveries are faster.
Faster, yeah.
Oh, they're appreciating the packaging because last month we changed our vendor and got a better packaging material.
Nice.
Those were the little things which mattered a lot for
And
us.
eventually, I think we got to, just to answer a question, about 12 or 13 people
Yeah.
full time
Yeah.
with the healthy company. So that was pretty much the scale, spread across marketing, tech, customer service, etc. Right? Like typical.
You didn't get into the MBA phase yet, right? While you
No,
were
no,
building.
no. So this
Why
is
the acquisition though? That's a very
Correct.
big question I have.
Mm.
Did you firstly, when you started working on the idea, and obviously the two of you were very passionate about it, and that's when a person can give it 6 years of their life or even 3 or 4. Did you ever think that you would want
Mm.
to sell off the company at some point?
So not really. I don't think you ever build a company with the mindset of
Yeah.
what's going to happen. You obviously want to take it to its logical conclusion, which I believe for any company should be, an IPO,
IPO. Yeah.
potentially, right?
Yeah.
I'll tell you a couple of cool things that really happened across this journey. Is we realized that the category we were in, health and wellness, primarily people in India, when we talk of health and wellness, the main thing that they pay for is they pay for painkillers, not vitamins. What I
Okay.
mean is, if they have a burning issue,
Huh.
let's say it's hair fall, let's say
Yeah.
it's weight,
Yeah.
that's what they'd be willing to pay for. If you tell them, okay, no, this is just a nice to have that will prevent diabetes 15 years later, people
Ah.
don't buy that, right?
Something that instantly gratifies or gives them the instant results.
Correct. So it's painkillers.
Got
And
it.
in painkillers, the biggest one in the categories we were in was weight loss. And now when we talk about weight loss and weight management, right, particularly, that's what we launched the company with. We realized the dominant target segment for that particular product and that particular category is going to be 30 to 50-year-old women. So no matter how much we try to market it to say young folks, young guys, whatever, who we could relate to from a consumer psychology standpoint, ultimately the product uptake and the market told us very clearly
So
that
your
they're
TG was not aligning.
at all. And after 2.5-3 years, we eventually realized that are we really the right people to build it? Because we can only empathize with that TG until a certain extent.
Yeah.
There is always going to be someone who's going to come in, who's going to
and understand that
be a part of
consumer better.
correct.
And there were people who were popping up. For example, I know
Yeah.
of great companies who were doing well and they were doing it better than us.
For example.
For example, take so many health and wellness brands. Man Matters ho gaya. Be it body wise.
Healthify me.
Well-being nutrition.
Yeah.
Healthify, well-versed. All of these people.
Like a lot of them are friends, for example, right? And
Yeah.
when we would talk to them,
Yeah.
we would realize that these guys are so much closer to the TG and they're so much more passionate. We are really passionate about building sort of a tech first venture
Yeah.
and scaling it, but these guys are really passionate about understanding customers' problems. So we were like, see, eventually they will be able to sort of outflank us in most of the categories that we choose to go to because they understand the customer so much,
Right.
right? And no matter how much we want to try and force the customer to be an 18 to 30-year-old male who we relate to, it's just not
It's just not that.
going to
Yeah,
happen. You can't
yeah.
force a market to
True.
behave in the way you
Yeah,
want.
yeah.
So that's when we had a very honest talk with the investor that, this is the thing. We've grown the company. So we grew the healthy company to over 1 crore a month, for example, and in
That's
a very,
pretty good.
Roughly.
very capital efficient way without burning money, right?
Nice. So all profitable.
Yeah. So some parts weren't profitable.
Okay.
Like when from 40 crores to 40 lakhs a month to 1 crore a month, that's when we really scaled up. That part wasn't profitable. But eventually got the company again towards a profitable spiral as well. But we had a very honest conversation saying that,
Yeah.
we really think that we gave it a good shot, but we might not be the best founders to take the brand forward and the company
It
forward.
takes a lot of guts and courage to say that though.
Yeah,
Most
I
people
mean,
would like to stay in denial and in their bubble.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean
So-
that way. I think we are very. So we, I
Yeah.
just feel like our superpower is at least like we're very shameless with failure and stuff.
And self-aware.
yeah.
Self-aware. Matlab, we realized that yes, we were failing and not going to be the best at it. Hence, we had the conversation first within each other. And then we spoke to the investors.
And if you're not going to be the best at it in the whole world, there's no point of doing it. Our point was, we're 24 right now, right? 24, 25, we're very young.
Yeah.
We should be doing something that we can be absolutely the
best
best
at.
in the
Best at.
world
For
at.
sure.
And
Right.
that can be a differentiator at least.
Yeah, like we should be the best in the world. Otherwise, it's no point
No
doing that.
point,
Maybe
yeah.
when we're 45, I'll go for something that's low risk and mediocre chal jayega.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, and usme yahi tha, no matter how much input we'd put, at best we would be able to be an 8 on 10 brand. And we wanted to be a 12 on 10. Just hit it out the
Yeah.
park.
Yeah.
And that was a conversation we had initially
Right.
with ourselves.
Right.
Then we had with the investors. They were also very supportive.
So they were on board with the idea of
Yeah, they saw the rationale and the reason
Right.
behind it.
right.
For example, like, we wrote a very sort of gut-wrenching email to all of them,
Okay.
explaining them everything that had gone right, everything that had gone wrong,
Yeah.
and what are the possible options and what we feel we should do.
Got it.
And they were quite supportive. They instantly
very,
got
very
it.
supportive. I mean, lots of them came to us and said, it's okay, we'll find you deals to help you out. There are tons
So the
of companies
acquisition
out
also
there.
came in through an investor, like
Yeah,
one of
yeah.
these referrals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
They were like, it's okay, you guys are young, it's just your first company. We believe in you regardless. If you do a venture anytime in the
Later
future,
also in the
count us
So
in,
the first
regardless.
2 investors of the healthy company who wrote the first check are also the ones who written the first check in
For
Culture
Culture
Circle.
That says a lot about you as founders, right? Also. to
Yeah,
be
I mean,
honest.
we were always very fair.
Yeah.
And we were always very transparent. because
Transparent, yeah.
We were like, this
sure.
is a long-term game that we are
Right.
playing
Right.
that way. So for example, I'll tell you, the last 1 year of the healthy company, so whenever the company was not making a profit, we would not take salaries. And that is not something sort of any founder would do,
Most
because
founders will
that's
not do
something
that.
you're entitled to
Yeah, yeah,
regardless.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
for your own
Regardless of
survival.
how the company is performing.
And our logic was, okay, whatever said and done, we're still living with our parents. We don't have responsibilities.
Right.
So just to show that commitment, no investor asked us to do this. We didn't even tell the investors we're doing this. But for the
You
last
just
1
did
year,
it because it naturally came to you
Came
and
to-
felt like the
yeah.
most
correct.
correct thing to do, probably.
Correct. And we still haven't told all the investors about it. For example, we never made a point that we're doing this to make a point or anything.
Got it.
We just didn't feel comfortable. We felt we were quite comfortable in, say, 10, 20,000 a month as well, for example. And if the company's not making a profit, let go of our own salaries first.
But when you were doing all of this and you came from not so humble backgrounds of DPS and such a reputed doctor wala family, and then your sister in Google and stuff, I'm just trying to understand kind of people you were surrounded by. Was there never ever like a FOMO of where this was going, what your aspirations were? Will you be able to, arrive at where you want to within the time you want to? Just even FOMO around, I'm sure, I mean, to build a company and to get it acquired at such a young age, there would have been a lot of sacrifices that the two of you made.
Correct.
Tell me a few things that you had to let go of as 24-year-old guys to get to where the company got to.
Very easy. It was very tough for us to go out when our friends were going out. And if somebody's going on a trip, had to say no to at least most of them. So very tough to see. And plus, obviously, so we had good friend circles in terms of they're doing well for themselves.
Yeah.
They were easily out earning us by 3x, 4x. So
Probably more.
Probably
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
So the
Probably.
FOMO, you never felt the FOMO at any
No,
point.
so I'll tell you what really helped here. It was the two of us together. So if, like, for example, if it was just me as a solo founder,
Yeah.
I would have 100% given up.
Okay.
At least 5 to 10 points I can specifically remember where I would have just given up,
Huh.
right? And it gets in
But you had
self-doubt.
each other to probably
Yeah.
pick you up at the times when
Yeah,
either of you
but-
were very low.
Exactly.
That always helps to have like a co-founder. Helps even further if the co-founder is your best friend since past 15 years.
Yeah, so for us,
But a lot of people say best friends shouldn't do business together.
it's very counterintuitive.
They're not best friends then.
Yeah, genuinely. And
Very well said. I agree.
Yeah.
True. मतलब अगर best friend के साथ ही नहीं कर सकते तो किसी और के साथ कैसे करोगे?
Correct.
My
वही,
point
मतलब-
is that.
Why would you say you
Because-
can't have a business with your best friend? What are you trying to hide?
because at
No,
least,
people say
there's...
business, money and all spoils relationships. Now when you get money into these
That's what I'm
equations.
saying. No, so at least with us, one thing's been super clear and it's very unsaid. We didn't decide this.
Huh.
But it just came naturally to us that we're best friends first and then co-founders. And this is something we even tell our investors, and it's not the most ideal answer that we felt.
Yeah,
it'd
it's
be.
not, especially from a VC standpoint, it isn't.
That's
Yeah,
what,
yeah.
that's what even we thought. But actually, even the investors who backed us, they said, we really love that about you. Like,
Really?
you're so honest about it, because they're like the
Okay.
number one reason most companies fail is actually politics and co-founder conflict. And especially when a company is growing, what happens is someone will come to him, say something, someone will come to me, say something, and all of these things start happening, especially when you're growing, right? When you're on the up. So they're like, the fact that you're so clear that you're best friends first is actually a de-risking factor to us. That risk is probably minimized in you guys doing it that way. And something that allows us to do this is there's blind trust. So for example, I'll tell you, I'm the MBA, but Akshay knows a lot more accounts than me. He handles all of our accounts, for example.
I've never given him the company credit cards to use.
Yeah, so
Yeah. I can't give the company credit cards to the person. To the person who runs marketing ads.
Yeah,
I can't
so
give
it's
infinite credit.
he's my guardrails because I have crazy marketing ideas. I would like if it was up to me, we'd be doing something like the Super Bowl.
It's funny, you didn't do an MBA in marketing. You're doing marketing.
So now there's no specialization as such actually.
Okay.
At IIM, they've stopped with the specialization.
Acha, they don't have specialization.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't do much of an MBA at all. Like I did not attend most of the classes, frankly.
Every weekend he was in Delhi.
Yeah.
Essentially. So there were like
Why
2 years, 52 weeks, 104 weeks.
Yeah, 104.
90 weeks he was here in Delhi.
Yeah.
Okay, now
90 weekends.
why did you write the cat? Why did you join IIM Ahmedabad?
Okay. So this is all accidental, just by the way. I had zero intention of doing an MBA. Zero plans.
I mean, you didn't need to.
So you had zero intention of doing an MBA. You had zero inclination to doing an entrepreneur.
No,
Yeah.
Who is this? Who is this?
And then, with zero intention, you get a 99.96 percentile also.
Wow.
Life is flowing, but
Itni flow hamari to nahi
I think there's a superhuman natural something controlling you.
No, but I'll tell you. So I took the CAT. So I'll tell you why. I have evidence to back it up. I took the CAT in 2019, which is like your final year, right? I took CAT 2019. That's when I took the CAT. And
why?
So because I'll tell you. So I was a coder. And as a coder, sort of the compensation that we're getting, packages, right?
Yeah.
Goldman was like 22, 24 LP and stuff. Now, all of my friends, though, were from the debating society. Right. So in the debating society, you have all branches and typically none of them were coders. So I was probably one of the only coders in debating society. So debating society folks, what they do is typically they try for a BCG, Bain,
All
BCN,
the consulting firms. Yeah.
all the consulting firms, right? And there the average pay scale in our times, like in our college at least, was 8 to 10 LPA typically as an analyst.
Yeah.
Right? That's what they pay.
Correct.
So I was like, even so comfortably here is 22, 24. The delta is too high. Why should I even look at this as a career option?
Got it.
In terms of the non-tech bit.
Yeah.
So we never really prepare for like MBA or anything like that. But all of my friends were taking the CAT. So they were like, bhai, tera bhi naam register kar diya because we kya center hum akele jayenge. You also take it. I'm like, okay, fine. And then they were doing this coaching from a coaching institute. So one of them gave me the login credentials ki tu mocks de de. And I took the first mock 12 days before my CAT exam. And somehow, because IIT JEE, I really studied very hard for.
Yeah.
So all of the IIT JEE math, I remembered.
Maths and aptitude would have helped you.
Remembered, yeah. English was something I was naturally inclined at in terms of sentence construction, since childhood.
Yeah.
And the third section is DILR, which is like puzzle solving. So you can't really prepare for that.
For it, yeah.
It's either you get it
or you don't.
You don't on the day of the test. So it's a very luck-based factor.
Yeah.
So in the mocks itself, I was getting very high scores. So that really motivated. Next 12 days, I gave 12 mocks. So I just gave a lot of mocks. And so I'm not inherently very gifted when it comes to aptitude, but I'm a good test taker. So what that means is, even when you're preparing for IIT JEE, they teach you stuff like, if there's 4 options, you eliminate 2. And then you can pick, right? So I'm very good at stuff like that. So I'm a good test taker that way. Yeah. So I might not be able to tell you.
People break under the pressure when they're giving
Correct.
tests. Yeah.
So you can handle pressure well as well.
I can handle.
And in a time-bound situation.
Because I'm like, even if nahi hua to kya, why don't take that pressure to my head? So that is why CAT happened. It was quite a fluke that I got such a high percentile.
No, I'll tell you. So that is the reason why CAT happened. So I'll tell you how he got 99.96.
Please.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people need to know this.
So I'll tell you what happened. So his slot was 8:30 a.m. And because he registered, I registered in CAT. My slot was 2:30 p.m.
Oh my God, you guys, will you do everything together?
Yeah,
I want to get there, but okay.
He registered first and he said, no, register.
Register.
Like, fine. And I had not studied. I did not want to give CAT. My slot was 2:30 p.m. And the CAT exam was 24th November. I
Right.
remember clearly, 23rd November, we were attending a friend's sister's wedding. So
Okay.
it was in Delhi.
Yeah.
Shout out
Obviously-
Krish Kakkad.
Shout out. So obviously third year college students, we were like 7-8 people going
Yeah.
from Gurgaon to Delhi.
Hmm.
Aram se sab are getting sloshed.
Yeah, yeah.
At 5 a.m.,
Huh.
I personally have dropped him back to his place and easily everyone is sloshed.
Yeah.
I don't know.
mad.
And I automatically assumed, मैंने पूछा नहीं कि अब तो हम नहीं जा रहे ना कैट देने 5 बजे.
नहीं, हम
This guy got up at around 7.
My
gave
mom
cat-
woke me up. My mother woke me up. She's like, go give it. I'm like, I'm really tired. She's like, go give it. So my mother forced me. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go. Because we had called the driver especially early. So she was
Wow.
like, now this guy's come in especially early for you. It'd be disrespectful if you don't go.
Thanks to the driver.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I think drivers
Thanks
was
to the
like-
driver is the reason you got a.
Yeah, I know, 100%. And that day just somehow, see, with any
Do you
competitive
think luck
exam,
matters?
100%. That's what I'm saying. With any competitive exam, majority of it is luck. Like what mindset you're in on the day of the test.
You were in a
Uh,
slosh mindset.
Yeah, so I was
you
I
still
was
can,
I
you
was in
know?
a very careless mindset in the sense, very detached from the result.
So it worked for you,
It
probably.
worked very well for me.
Yeah.
That's how, in fact, I ruined my IT JEE advanced exam because I took too much pressure. So I
I think
really
when you
buckled.
chill about things in life in
Yeah.
general, na, they automatically fall in place.
Yeah.
Correct.
When you're calm, that just
When
means
you're
you're calm and composed.
Composed, yeah.
तुम इतना ज़्यादा stress
Instead of
नहीं ले रहे हो.
panicking and getting all
Yes.
jittery,
Yes,
that doesn't
Yes.
help anyways.
Exactly. So basically,
Yeah.
getting sloshed also helps. Right
So
before
yeah,
doing
I was
something
extremely
important.
sick.
Don't take these lessons, guys.
Yeah, don't.
No, guys, this is a wrong lesson to
No,
take.
I got super lucky.
It's like one of 100 ways you can do something.
Yeah,
Not
I got
the only
super
way.
lucky.
Got it. So the two of you wrote it. Both of
No,
you.
no. So I automatically
So you
assumed.
He assumed कि of course now we
He
won't
tried,
go.
nahi.
नहीं, I automatically assumed if we're returning at 5 a.m. तो I think we're skipping.
Yeah.
मैं तो 3 बजे उठा था आराम से. I skipped.
And I'm calling him after my exam just to do check ki, have you started for it?
Yeah.
He's not picking up. And 3 p.m. he's like, yeah, what's up? I'm like, your exam? He's like, dena tha. I'm like, bro, I just
I
came back
thought
from
we're
the
automatically
center.
skipping. Like nobody cares
Love it.
about this exam. So I skipped it.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
So you
and,
wrote it.
and so yeah, I wrote it, and then I had my interviews. So I got calls naturally because of that percentile from
Obviously.
all the IIMs, right?
They were all. They must all be running after you.
Yeah, and my interviews also went. So my interviews also, I'll tell you again
Huh.
why sometimes just honesty really helps, because I again had no intention of doing the MBA, because if I wanted to do an MBA, this is 2020 when we are starting the healthy company.
Ah.
I'm anyway leaving Goldman. I'm like MBA, so I'll definitely leave.
Right.
I'm leaving Goldman for this. MBA to scene ही नहीं है.
Correct.
So I went into those interviews with like nothing to lose. I'm like, even if they reject me.
You don't care.
So all of their questions, I just answered with brutal honesty. They're like, oh, okay.
Give me one example. Of
Yeah, so they were
question.
like, okay, you have an offer from Goldman. You're doing something of your own on the side, right? So this MBA is basically like an insurance plan for you कि मैं एक degree ले लेता हूँ. I'm like, हाँ, now that you say it, you know, it makes sense. कि it's
You
probably
said this in
yeah,
You
no, because
seriously
I was
said
just
that?
I was very honest, and that's what even they knew that's the right answer.
But it is right. I mean,
Even
what
they knew
what
that's the
else is
honest.
the probability that he's doing it.
Correct. So even
Correct.
they knew that's the honest answer, and they
Yeah.
were just so like, huh, this guy is just himself. He's
yeah.
not trying to.
At least you're honest and
No
upfront
pretense.
about it.
Huh, there's no pretense.
No
Like he's not
pretense.
giving rehearsed answers.
Huh.
So
Nor were you trying to please them.
I think a lot
Correct.
of people would rehearse the answers and prep for interviews.
It's
And
too,
as an
too
interviewer,
fabricated.
as an interviewer, you're used to that, right?
Yeah.
You're interviewing 100 people a day. तो तुम्हें वो नहीं चाहिए same
standard
answers.
questions
So
होता
you
है कि
broke out the
budget.
spectrum.
Correct.
He broke the pattern also, probably
Yeah.
got their attention by not saying what they were expecting him
वही
to
ना
say.
कि
Exactly.
Everyone goes right, he went left.
Yeah.
हाँ, just break the pattern. So they were like, budget देखा है. They're like, every student they're interviewing has obviously analyzed the budget. That's the most de facto question in all IIM interviews.
Right. Correct.
It's right after the budget
Yeah.
announcement.
Yeah.
They're like, budget, have you analyzed? I'm like, honestly, no. कहते announcement, you must have heard any key takeaways. I'm like, I'm sorry, I've been out of the loop because we were rolling out a feature for our mobile app for the healthy company. I was like, I was just locked into this for 5 days. I have no idea what's going on. And then they started a conversation on my venture, which is my strength. I can go on and
Go
talk
on
about
and
something
talk
I'm building for hours, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, so that's how the narrative changed from a typical, acha, ye question
you
we'll ask.
were on the driver's seat. Now
Correct.
because you
It
steered it into
It
the
automatically, it wasn't even intentional, but I
Yeah.
realized in retrospect,
Yeah.
by just having that very something unique to me,
Yeah,
which was I was
yeah.
building a venture.
Right.
They wanted to know more about it
Correct.
naturally.
Correct.
And that's why my interviews lasted the longest, like 1.5 hours. And they were only about my venture. And that's obviously something I can go as much depth as they would want.
They would want, yeah.
So that's what worked in my favor. That's why I got like the admits
Got it.
and all of them. And then I chose IIM Ahmedabad because that was the only place. My parents were like, oh, now you've gotten IIMC, you can't let go of this. I'm like, okay, wait. IIM Ahmedabad allows you to defer your admit.
Oh, nice.
So that was
So
the
you
idea.
deferred it from 2022?
2022.
Nice.
So that was the idea.
Very nice. Very interesting. I think what I kind of picked from what he just shared was the fact that in general, I mean, because again, students, I also wrote the ITJ. I was terrible at it. I think what I've just realized is when you take tests or when you are under a pressurizing situation, which is time bound, which is a test at the end of the day, the folks who kind of, I'm not saying don't take it seriously and don't prepare, but the ones who just, detach from it, from the outcome of it.
Correct.
Process, it's up to
Sure.
you. You take it seriously, don't take it seriously. It's a personal call. But if you're too attached to the outcome, it can get to you. And then
100%.
the chances of failure are more than success.
True.
Because you were so chill about it and you just went with what naturally came to you, and then you were super honest in your interviews, which probably hit it off the bat for a lot of people. You made it, right? But tell me, Akshay,
Yeah.
when you got to know that he's made it into IIM Ahmedabad, right? And he's doing this. Even though he could get his offer deferred, you knew that 2 years later he has to join in on campus. What was your overall perspective on how you were going to build out things? Did you think things would change now that he would be in a different city and was going on to pursue a business degree in a B school per se? So what was your reaction to everything that was playing out there?
So I'll tell you, when he got the percentage right, so we were very clear that he wanted to defer it.
Right.
So we were aligned there. And right after that, I did think, should I also give CAT? But that point of time, the healthy company was doing really well.
Yeah.
And I never thought I genuinely did not want to do postgrad
Okay.
because of how my undergrad experience had been. I felt that whatever I had learned during my undergrad in 4 years, everything I did in the healthy company for a year easily outlasted that.
Even
So-
in institutions like IIM.
So
If you
exactly,
got the chance.
it was never a choice.
But
of
yes,
college.
to answer your question,
Okay.
it does.
So it was never against any college, but I felt that instead of doing postgrad, now that I've missed one CAT and now the healthy company is doing well, let's not give CAT and let's do the healthy company all together for longer duration.
Okay.
And on the side, what I did is I joined JIF, which is an investment firm for Jains. Like, for example, you have BNI.
Yeah.
BNI is a networking firm.
Networking firm.
So
yeah.
Jito is also a networking.
Akshay joined a cult.
Yeah, he joined the cult.
So a cult
It is
which
a-
benefited
It's a cult.
us.
It is.
As we
And
know.
he's been trying to recruit me into the cult for the past 3
Yeah.
weeks.
See, that's how FOMO
He
works.
filled up my form for me.
I filled up this form.
Two of you are always just convincing each other to do everything that you want
All
to do.
bad ideas.
All bad
That's what
ideas.
best friends are for.
I'll tell you a very fun tidbit, right? So I'm derailing, but it's very fun.
Yeah.
So in 12th, we were in VMC. So VMC
Vidya
is...
Mandir.
Yeah,
Yeah,
VMC.
coaching,
I
correct,
went
correct.
to
So-
once in Pune.
So उसमें हाँ VMC वही सब बच्चे गए थे यार
हाँ,
जिसको
वही।
करना होता है
और फिट जी.
हाँ
हाँ,
VMC
FIT G।
फिट जी 2 ही होते हैं
हाँ।
जो अच्छे होते हैं बाकी सब गरीब होते हैं so that's gonna be cut.
Humble background,
Don't
no?
cut this. Humble guy.
Humble
saying
guy.
बाकी सब गरीब होते
Humble
हैं.
background.
We'll cut it
No.
to this.
I didn't get my Jordans.
No, so point was so VMC में ना एक HRT करके एग्जाम होता है
हाँ,
which is right before your main.
It's a mock, basically.
It's a mock.
अच्छा,
Main से
okay.
पहले होता है JEE main से.
हाँ.
They do a lot of mocks. So HRT ऐसा हुआ हमारे ना HRT and chemistry pre-board same date पे हुए. Chemistry pre-board in school, we're in 12th grade, and VMC HRT same date पे होकर. So we had to take a call. Okay, किसके लिए पढ़ना चाहिए हमें, which is more important. So this guy convinced me कि listen, HRT is way more important.
Because
ये तो pre-board है, ये तो pre-board है, boards थोड़ी हैं. IIT JEE mains crack करना है. I was like, no,
Wow.
chemistry pre-board is way more important. HRT से 10 होंगे. ये pre-board तो is a prep for boards, no? both
And we had a
convinced
1
each
hour
other.
long conversation
At
and
debating.
convinced each
10,
other.
11 p.m. we had a 1 hour long conversation. He was like, no, we have to give an HRT. I was like, no, chemistry pre-board exam. Tomorrow morning, I've missed school. He has convinced me to give the HRT. I've missed my school. And wait, turns out he's not there at the HRT. He's went to school to give the chemistry pre-board exam. हम दोनों ने
We
एक
both-
दूसरे को convince कर लिया है at this point. And हम दोनों ने उल्टी चीज कर ली है.
And I called him after the chemistry program. I'm like, bro, तू क्यों नहीं आया? मैं तो तेरी वजह से आया था. He's like, मैं HRT गया कि तूने मेरे को HRT जाने को बोला था. I'm like,
Communicate करना चाहिए.
हाँ, नहीं तो हम दोनों ने अपने अपने पॉइंट्स कम्युनिकेट करे
और
But
हमें
we
लगा
didn't
कंक्लूजन नहीं हुआ फिर उसका
conclusion what we did
I thought कि
realize
इसने मुझे कन्विंस कर दिया तो मैं केमिस्ट्री की रिपोर्ट देने जाता हूँ.
I thought इसने मुझे convince कर दिया.
हो गया होगा is what I've
At the
seen
best-
वो होता
Yeah,
नहीं
yeah.
है
दोनों ने पढ़ाई नहीं
वो
करी
फिर
तो दोनों के
उसका
गंदे
उल्टा
मार्क्स आए
करते
थे.
हैं is what I've seen very
Yes,
nice
दोनों के गंदे मार्क्स आए थे. But yeah, I think we do have a very very bad influence over each other. ये जो नहीं होना चाहिए.
it's a double-edged sword
Yeah. No, but coming back to the original question,
yeah
like when I decided that postgrad was not for me,
Yeah.
probably because undergrad may not the best experience. So I joined Jito, which is I joined the investment arm of it.
you join them as a
So Jito, technically any Jain can join,
huh.
but they have arms under them.
Cult.
So they have arms under them. The
what
one
if I'm not Jain
Then you can't. That's why it's a cult.
No,
Then
that's
तो
why.
it is a
Yeah,
cult.
it's community.
It's a
Yeah,
cult.
you're not letting anybody
Yeah.
enter so it is
we can't let anybody enter. Think about it.
but
we
what
can't
if
just
somebody
let
is
anybody-
capable
If you're not a Jain, let me rephrase that.
okay fine
Being a Jain,
Continues.
sort of.
No, Akshay joined JIF, which is not a cult.
It's not a cult. It's an investment arm of it. There are like around 1,500 angels there who invest in firms, and I joined them as an investment facilitator.
okay
Like I used to vet deals for them, judge startups as an investor, and I made sure they got invested in.
got it
So that gave me entirely different set of learnings. Where after being a startup founder, also on parallel, I was sort of like an investor. So that helped me gain a lot of insights and
perspective
knowledge
on the other side
Yes.
yeah
from the different table.
yeah
Ki
other
how
side
are
of the table
investors looking at startups? So
correct
since we have done a startup together, I know how to catch bullshit. Ki what are you saying which is not true?
true
What are you saying which is true? What are your
Yeah.
core fundamental
Random
problems you're
jargon.
writing?
yeah you can catch
What
the
is
fluff.
random jargon? Exactly.
Like
How is it to
AI
catch that?
nowadays
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
90% of
True,
the
I
startups.
swear.
Yeah, that should not be the case.
Every company is an AI tech company
Correct.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
why not
Yeah, even
Because
I
it
think
has
even
to
our
be.
pitch deck now has AI tech.
Correct,
So,
correct.
yeah.
but
And-
why
No, we're actually building AI.
oh, okay cool then
So
okay
it's not jargon for us.
yeah
But no, that's what helped me. But then he got into MBA. So then I decided.
what was your reaction when you got to know
good?
No, I think we
Helps
knew.
us in networking.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
while going to MBA, I'll tell you. So again, I was very clear what I wanted out of the IIMA experience. So they have this program called the IIMA Mavericks.
okay
So what that does is it gives you a lot of relaxations when it comes to, say, in terms of your courses. It gives you credits, etc., so that you don't have to be completely so heavily involved in
But
your
it must be
regular
for a
MBA.
specific set of people
Yeah, it's if you have a startup idea that's very promising that they like and they decide to
Oh.
back you. So my day one of my college, I went in and met the head of the incubator,
Nice.
Bharat Innovation Fund, etc. All of these guys, and I told them, listen,
yeah
I am the one person here who's not going to sit in internships, placements, none of that.
guts this is what guts day one pay
Yeah, I told them very
I'll be
clearly.
honest.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make a CV. I'm not going to participate in any of this process. तो मेरा ये कुछ नहीं होने वाला, but I want to do something of my own. This is what I've done, and this is what I want to work towards.
got it
And they were extremely supportive, to their credit. They were like, we want more people to take these risks.
yeah
We're finally getting someone. So in my first year, I was the only person out of a batch of 450 people who opted out of the internship process. They didn't have a mechanism for a person to opt out of the internship process because nobody had done it
done it before Yeah.
So they created that
the
process.
system got built out because of you
Correct.
doing
They
it.
create that process for me because people often opt out of placements, the
Yeah,
final
but
ones.
internships,
Internships,
people
everyone
don't
goes ki karke dekh lete
thoda
hain.
experience
So I was very clear since day one.
Hmm.
And therein also, what I do is, again, another thing I was very clear is I don't care what my grades are going to be in MBA. So that way, I knew what my time commitment to say MBA is going to be. It's going to be very limited. And rest of the time, we are working on our projects, building out stuff.
got it
Initially, the healthy company, then
Yeah.
later we building out other stuff.
right
And that way, we'd probably still be on call, say 2 hours daily, even when I was, say, there.
yeah
And weekends I'd anyway come back here.
Hmm.
So that way, going into the program, we were both very clear what we want to get out of it.
Hmm.
Which
so
you
that
want to get that.
communication and understanding was there with respect to what
For
you
sure.
were going to do and how you were going to
Correct.
make this work
Correct.
got it
And we got that leverage, like whether it's from the brand, like for example, fundraising is now a piece of cake, any sort of
True.
network connects, etc.
because so much access also because of your role at Jito
Correct.
there
Correct.
and then because of the IIMA network that you kind of brought in
Network,
Correct.
the branding,
Brand.
the
really helps us.
branding yeah it
Even
does help
InfoEdge, like who are the primary investors in
Yeah.
such a circle.
yeah
So Devansh was an event pitch session,
right
and they saw him pitching, and that's where they connected. So helps us in a lot of outreach.
I mean Sanjeev Bichchandani come on man
Correct. Yeah. And small stuff that we've
Yeah.
noticed that, for example, the first time around when we were, say, even fundraising
Right.
or we'd want to collaborate with people, we drop them emails, cold emails, right?
Yeah.
We drop, say, 100. I don't know, 20 would respond. Typically, that's the rate. If I do the same from an IIMA email ID, it's the opposite. Probably
It
80,
is.
80
Probably
respond.
80% of them will
So
reply.
yeah, and now you can't put like a value to that particularly, right? Because out of those 80, 2 might be the ones that really push your company to the next level. We've had instances wherein our payment gateways have blocked our payments
Okay.
in Culture Circle worth multiple lakhs, and the business would have gone bankrupt because the payments that customers are making to us,
Yeah.
that they're not paying us, but we have to make the payments to our vendors.
Vendors,
sellers,
yeah, and your
correct?
sellers.
Correct. And because they detected some risk or something, and they're like, this will now take 6 months. And if that had happened, Culture Circle would not exist.
Wouldn't exist, yeah.
Wouldn't exist because we had a crore in the bank and we had a crore of incoming payments that we weren't given. So at that point, an IIMA alum, for example, we found at that particular payment gateway, and I just reached out to him from my IIMA email ID, and he got it solved in like a week.
Wow.
So now, for example,
That's the power of an actual powerful network, right?
Correct.
When you say network is
Correct.
your net worth, this is an example.
Yes,
Correct.
Yeah.
Because I really don't
True
believe,
testimony.
I really don't think MBA as a form of education is really that much more meaningful
Yeah.
than, say, you spending 2 years doing your own thing. Frankly, I think what I learned
Even after all of this.
what I learned in 2 to 3 years of building the healthy company was exponentially more than what I learned in those 2 years of MBA.
But do you think that the kind of access you got to in terms of the peer network
That's what.
and the folks right now who
Correct.
are probably investors or I don't know.
And your
Some-
professors as well.
Yeah, even professors.
Yeah.
Is that something that can be traded off for when somebody is looking to, let's say that I want to start up and not rather go to like a average MBA college, then to any day it's justified.
I don't think there's any point in doing your
MBA
from an average.
Yeah.
If it's not like a top 6, top 7,
Makes no sense.
makes zero sense to
sense.
me, because like the education
Yeah.
is not something that's very meaningful in my opinion, that you can get regardless. And nowadays most of the companies have dropped the quote unquote MBA requirement from a bunch of profiles as well,
Yeah.
because even they realize it's not really meaningful.
Yeah.
What MBAs used to serve well is a filtration process. So if you're in, say, a top B school, they have done the filtration in terms of selecting and you getting in. So even at IIM Ahmedabad, they tell us this on like day one of campus, saying, all of you are going to get great jobs out of here. It's because it's not about what we teach you in the next 2 years. It's about every company knows that we have done the tough job of filtering you guys from 2 lakh people to these 400 odd people.
Yeah.
And that's how you'll get hired.
True.
But what you do over the next 2 years is hopefully we can teach some business ethics, integrity, and all of that to you, and you come out better people. But it's not going to help you in your day-to-day
Got it.
jobs. per
Jobs,
se.
per
That
se.
you're already hired the moment you enter.
Very interesting. Okay. And obviously, because when you joined on day one, you had mentioned to all the authorities that, listen, I'm not going to sit in the placement process, whatever. By the time this IIMA thing happened also, your parents, I'm assuming, knew of your plans and intentions and were on board with
No.
all of them. Even
No.
then, no.
No.
Why?
Like, why would I tell them? It just induced stress to them. So if I'm telling
But
them,
there was so much validation, right? Already
it's
now.
never enough. It's still not enough for our parents. Like we were on
Hardly
Shark
enough.
Tank. They've seen us on TV.
Come on.
Yeah.
No,
It's
तो
never
अभी
enough.
भी नहीं.
They still. This is last
इससे
month.
ज़्यादा क्या करोगे यार?
Last month they were like, कि, "Are you sure you don't want to take the UPSC?" Can you imagine? So yeah,
Get up from this chair.
it's never enough for Indian
them,
parents.
It's always like they're still
Yeah,
taking
yeah.
Why
risks
will
every
you guys
day.
take UPSC?
Last
UPSC,
night, my mother was like, "Are you sure this is what you want to do? Are you sure about what you're doing?" So it is never enough.
Okay, got it.
It's still like at the end of the day, we're taking major risks. Like for them, still they want to be secure about us. That are you sure
Yeah.
that you are sure you're going to make money?
They're
on
like,
this?
ठीक है, अभी तो बहुत अच्छा चल गया. What if it doesn't exist in 2 years?
Ups and downs of any business. Yeah, what if it's
तो
not exist?
वो तो हो ही सकता है and होगा. Maybe.
Correct.
From their POV, they're right. मतलब, they're still asking, you are 100% sure, no? That you want to do this. This is just checking in from time to
My
time.
parents still think I've made a career disaster by letting go of Goldman. They were like, तब Goldman कर लेता, आज कहाँ था? I'm like, I don't know. Probably in some cubicle crying.
Coding.
Yeah.
5 years down the line, we'll do an IPO. Your parents
Still,
will be like,
yeah. 5 years down the line, we do an IPO. They'll still be like, I don't know. Maybe if you were in Goldman, you'd be doing something else. Yeah, you should have taken the UPSC. I cleared the CAT. They're like, see, you're so good at taking tests. We told you you're intelligent. You should have taken the UPSC. Why don't you prep for UPSC? I am doing my MBA from IIMA. Every day they're telling me, you're good at taking tests. Take the UPSC ones. No, let's see what happens. I'm like,
this is the problem. I feel, I don't know how to put it. There's no better way to put it, as rude and upfront as it may sound. And being a career coach, I think I can say it, and I will say it. It's been 5 years. I've met all kinds of people across the age of 18 to 50. One common thing I've seen across the spectrum is Indian parents and their unwavering need.
fascination.
To always thopify is the word. Whatever it is that they feel is right on their children when it comes to A, career choices, B, life partner
Especially
choices.
UPSC.
No, but I've seen this not just in the career context, even when it comes to choosing a life partner. Like I always say this, choosing what you want to do for the rest of your life, and because we spend most of our time working, and then choosing who you have to actually live and share a room with should be my choice at the end of the day.
Important decisions.
You're not going to come in and live with that person. I am going to. Same time, you're not going to come in and go to work and get the job done and earn the bucks.
Correct.
With all due respect, I'll listen to you. But it's my career and my life at the end of the day. So shouldn't I be the one calling the shots?
Oh, fair.
Yeah, so you should be the one calling the shots. And I agree with the point you said. Listen to them.
Listen
They're
to
just
them.
giving you a holistic approach.
True.
But end of the day, you should be calling the
I
shots.
think
Yes.
when it comes to life partner, actually, I think I trust my parents' choices more than me. So I'm not on board with that. Yeah, I would rather trust my parents' choices.
That's
I
your
think.
problem.
Yeah,
That's
that's a
your
me.
problem.
That's a
You are not able to.
that's a me problem.
If you are not able to
I'm a
find-
bad judge of people. So
Maybe you're not a good judge of people.
Yeah,
But doing an MBA and being the kind of guy in your history track record, I thought you'd
I
be
think
good
no,
at judging.
he's scared that people would just exploit him.
Yeah, so I think
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
very.
I'm gonna make sure when he's getting married,
Yeah.
I make sure all the equity is named to his mom. Like
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
gonna make sure that's happening.
So I'm a simple creature that I'm a very simple person that way. So that's why I feel like my parents are quite concerned. I'll make the wrong choice and like someone will like entice me or do something. So I'm like, okay, this.
I've gotten his last 3 breakups done. Like that was me.
Yeah, it's either Ackshay or my parents. That's the
The
filter.
mic's also kind of like not able to keep up. Okay. When it comes to the entire trajectory from now, when everything's settled in, the healthy company was acquired. He had started his IIM Ahmedabad journey. You were here building things out and obviously a part of Jeetu. Tell me what happened right after that. How did the idea of Culture Circle even come in? And what is this 360-degree flip from like a health technology company to this cool vibe, Gen Z drip culture? Like, how does this
do
happen?
you want the actual answer
The
or do you want
actual
an
answer.
investor answer?
Actual answer. I'm not an
Actual
investor.
answer is we were in Goa.
Yeah, you guys
Like
are
how- so-
I like the fact everything is so chill and normal.
So
and
I'll
feel
tell you,
like-
like the original idea for the healthy company. Guess where that came to us?
I don't know, maybe at some night party scene or wherever you guys were.
we were in Kasol, and that's when the idea struck us for the healthy company.
And what were you doing in Kasol?
we were on a boys trip.
Yeah.
Boys were
And-
doing what?
Nothing, eating
Trip.
food.
Eating food.
Eating food, yeah.
Eating food.
And we realized this is so unhealthy.
Yeah. Sure.
Boys trip.
Boys trip.
Yeah.
We were- yeah.
Got it.
But Culture Circle was like just out of like
In Goa.
in Goa.
What were you
Like,
doing?
Boys
you
trip.
mentioned, right?
Boys trip
trips do you
again.
do? Okay.
Oh, we love boys trip.
Yeah.
I think
Are you all like anti female trips or
No,
intros?
no, but it's a lot
No.
chiller. So
yeah.
like, if it's like 4-5 guys just going on a trip, no, you don't need to think about a lot of things. Where will you stay? What will be the condition
Yeah,
be
to
like?
what
If
What
there's
kind of a hotel will you
Yeah,
stay?
yeah,
stay
if
in
there's
the
going to
worst
be
kind of places.
shared-
You don't mind, matlab.
No,
if
we
there's going to be
You तो नहीं रह सकते
shared
हो।
boys,
Hostel में रह
yeah,
लो।
4-5 boys
I've
क्या ही
stayed
होगा
in,
हमारे साथ?
what do you call it? This thing
I
called
think it's just,
hostel.
the problem is men are not as hygienic as women in general.
Correct.
Wow, no.
Correct.
That's the truth.
She's right.
No,
I'm
men are
just
hygienic.
absolutely
No, no,
right.
she's
Men
right.
are just
Guys are
low
just not
maintenance.
as-
Men are just
Which
low
is another way of
maintenance.
saying
Which
less
is a way of saying
hygienic.
you are
Less
not
hygienic.
taking care of a lot of things in general.
Exactly why we don't have girls on trips.
So yeah, so whenever we have had like female friends on trips, no, we've realized there was just so much hassle managing this, that, so many
so
ifs
it's
and
not
buts.
hassle.
We will
take
not-
extra care of a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of responsibility,
Yes,
pressure.
we will
and
not
you're
rent-
able to enjoy.
We will not rent this car. We will have to rent a car with a driver. You guys
So
can't
the
drive.
washrooms in the hotels have to be super clean.
Yeah,
Obviously.
like
No, I meant we are always extra careful. But
Careful.
when it's a boys' trip, we don't
You're
care.
carefree, yeah.
We don't care.
we can plan it 2 days in advance, and it's okay
Yeah.
when it comes to a boys trip.
So we've done all sorts of trips, like boys trips also was work out for us.
Yeah. Moving on, so you both were in Goa,
Yeah.
an all boys trip, and then what
Correct.
happened? What followed?
So one of our friends, right, he used to buy a lot of Jordans, etc. as well, more than us.
Were you guys into sneakers before?
Not very, very much.
Never.
Not fanatics. No, we had Jordans.
Achha, you had Jordans.
we had-
Okay.
And we knew about the entire reselling
So you
industry.
knew of the market too.
Correct, because one of our friends, he used to be a reseller, and he really introduced us to this world. And
This is also a cult, huh? By the way.
yeah. But
This is a very
we're a
big
part
cult.
of it, and we love it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Now
So
though you're in the cult, though.
Now
what
that
is
we have
the-
to-
you
now that we have to
create
no,
say
it's not in the
Now
cult.
we have to
It's
say it for
in,
marketing.
in the culture.
in the culture.
You know, our logo literally has cult spelled out in it. Put it up on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll put it
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Cult.
Nice.
So yeah, that's a
Got it.
callback.
Got it.
But so one of our friends, he's again, we were also passionate sneakerheads. We had something like this we wanted to do.
ठीक है.
We knew. And for that trip also, we booked tickets.
Healthy company को sell करने के बीच में and this.
So then
What was the period?
it was actually the deals were ongoing. Like for the exit,
So
it's
that
still
was not completed also.
correct. It takes years.
Takes a lot of time.
Lot of
There are
time.
a lot of conditions we have to.
There's a lot of
iron out.
documentation.
Wow.
So we'd had a chat with our investors.
Right.
They had connected us to a lot of folks. We were speaking.
Got
These
it.
were being ironed out.
Right.
But that was the time we had started building other small, tiny projects.
So your plan was, let's see what's the next thing we're going to work
And
on.
honestly, Culture Circle, there was no idea to make like a company, for-profit company at all. It was a
No,
hackathon project.
That's the wrong line. You say there was zero intention.
Yeah.
Because that's become like your
Yeah.
hook, the same thing that you say
There
every
was
time.
zero
I
intention.
had
Yeah.
zero intention to do an MBA. I had zero
Yeah,
intention to be an
yeah,
entrepreneur.
Correct.
I had zero intention to ride
yeah.
the cat. I had zero intention.
So
Yeah.
we had zero intention to honestly ever make money or anything. And for the longest time we didn't. Like for 6, 7,
Yeah.
8 months, it was just a project.
Correct.
Like we made our first game
No,
back in
but
8th
I
grade.
want to know, where did the thought
Insight,
and the
correct.
inclination even come कि ये project हो भी सकता है as a
So I'll tell
project
you.
idea.
We had recently discovered Skyscanner at that point.
Ah.
And we booked our tickets to Skyscanner, and we were just so
I think
amazed.
it was you know.
Correct.
Because you used to
Ah.
do a lot of back and forth from Ahmedabad.
Correct,
So
correct.
So I asked
correct.
him one day, like, how the F
Are you
are you
able to
affording
come?
all of this? Like, what is
Yeah.
up? How can you be so back
Does
and forth? and
Skyscanner
like that?
every time actually give you like the best?
It does.
Yes,
it does.
yes.
Because it shows you all possible options from the internet, no? So that's why we're just doing Skyscanner. And that's why I told him about the idea, and we really loved what Skyscanner did.
Hmm.
And one insight I had is, so I had a Goa, Bibo, Clear Trip, Ixigo, all of the apps I had on my phone.
Right.
But once I got Skyscanner, those apps became pretty much useless for me. I just default to Skyscanner and want to
Because
use
you
that.
get all of them aggregated there.
Anyway,
Aggregated,
one place,
exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So we like such a simple idea,
Yeah.
but what a powerful,
Powerful
idea.
one, yeah, true.
Very powerful idea because it's just convenience and my brain doesn't need to think
And
too
solves
much.
for such a
You-
large problem.
correct.
Price comparison.
Correct.
And everything in one place.
One place.
Correct. And plus, flights are expensive. It's not like you're
Right.
booking like
And there is a significant price difference also between the different platforms that we
Yeah,
saw.
there is.
So the same flight would range from 10,200 to 12,000. This is the Goa flight I'm talking about. So I just saved $1,800 by just using
by
a
doing
different.
nothing. Huh?
Yeah, by just using a different
Yeah.
app.
That's a good delta to have.
So
That
and
gave you the thought.
so that was a thought we were talking
That was
about
an
for multiple
aggregation
industries.
we were having for an application.
Correct. Ki aggregation is
Right.
such a powerful
Huh.
tool. Then there, one of our friends, he was telling us how he just got these 3 sneakers because his elder brother was in the States. So he would order from StockX
Yeah.
and then get them
Get
here.
them here.
Right. And he was like, I just can't find any of this in India because there's like resellers who I have to reach out to on WhatsApp, Instagram.
Individually, yeah.
And then we had our own personal experiences also.
So like when I bought my first shoe ever, right? It was called the Jordan High PSGs. It technically is for like 30,000. So I had saved money up for months, like what, 3,000-4,000 karke. So what happened is my size is UK 11.
ठीक है.
So UK 11 is anyway rare. Like,
Yeah.
I know now.
हाँ.
I did not know back then
Back
UK
then.
11 is there. So I checked out, I googled obviously 3 websites popped up. कुछ में UK 11 है, कुछ में नहीं है. And just my UK 11 था, it was like 40,000. Like, no, I'm not paying 40,000. I reached out to 5 Instagram sellers and half of them said they don't have UK 11. Half of them had UK 11, but they gave me abnormally low prices. One gave me 15,000. I was like, wait, why is the 15,000, 40,000 delta?
Delta
coming in?
there, yeah.
And that's when I was like discussing with Devansh also ki to find one simple pair
Yeah.
where the prices are fluctuating is so tough. And that's where like he also shared his
For that
experience. Yeah.
15,000, he had to randomly UPI 15,000 to a number and hope that number does not scam him. That was the
Correct.
customer experience or buying experience for us. Right. And for me also, like I just copped like a pair of sneakers from a reseller, and 20 days later one of my friends comes to me and she's like, how much do you get these for? I want to get them. I told her whatever price. She's like, oh, I can get it at this store literally for like $6,000 lesser. You overpaid. And I felt terrible that why did I have to like feel that
Feel that,
experience.
yeah.
Like
And-
somebody's coming to you and saying,
and
why do
I'm-
you pay extra?
I'm spending what, like 32,000 on
Hmm.
a shoe,
Right.
and after that I'm feeling cheated
Correct.
in a certain sense.
Yeah.
No, like because I'm spending that because I want to enjoy
Yeah.
that product, and
Yeah.
now every time I'd wear it, I'd feel like freaking
Like,
6,000
yeah.
is gone.
Yeah.
So those were the insights we had. And then this guy again, in the Goa trip, was telling us how it's such a pain here to get them because he has to talk to these resellers and hope they don't scam him. And all of this, then it was just a light bulb moment wherein Akshay and I were like, you know what, we should just build a sky scanner for all of these limited edition products. And within that Goa trip, it was a 5-day trip. 3 days, I think we took it as a hackathon. And last 3 days of the trip, we coded out the website. And
The two of you.
correct.
My God.
So he did all the back end
Engineers.
stuff, which is
Yeah.
scraping all of the internet, getting all the prices, making that database price comparison. I made the entire front end, the website, UI, UX, showing
Yeah.
that price comparison, all of that.
Yeah.
And we just built it. And
In 3 days.
and 1 hour before our flight, we were at Olive in Goa.
Yeah.
And I still remember, wahan se we made the website live. We recorded an Instagram story that we're taking the project live. We just put up one Instagram story saying, this is a cool tool we have built, Sky Scanner for like sneakers. Check it out. And then we boarded our flight. And by the time even the flight landed, we had like multiple people visit it. And we forgot about this project for 2-3 months. 2 months later, I'm randomly doing something else. And I just...
So you forgot about the idea after
God,
like.
hasn't
It was
like,
not for profit, no. It was a
it
cool
was
project.
A passion project we had built. Ki acha hai,
We
good for the
wanted to put out
community.
something cool in the
Cool in
world.
the-
That
yeah.
was all.
In Goa, we built it out. Hackathon projects, how they are, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
this only. Like,
Right.
We
just
have
build it
40
and
other
go.
projects we have done, which we've never made a company out of. So this could have been the 41st, for example, no?
Yeah.
So it was just that.
Right.
And 2-3 months later, we just stumbled upon the Google Analytics for this particular website, and we realized that this is getting like 50,000, 60,000 visitors
Damn.
Yeah.
with zero marketing. And I knew, from running the healthy company, to get these amount of visitors, how much money I'd have to
You had
spend
pump in
advertising dollars.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, this is such a powerful idea that people are just telling their friends about it.
Yeah.
We have definitely hit on something here.
Yeah.
Let's explore this.
There's a gold
And
mine.
that was the journey.
Lovely. Very
Yeah.
cool. So, a Goa boys trip to you taking up a hackathon project, building this out in 3 days, putting out a random IG story,
Correct.
to then forgetting about it for 2 months, and then suddenly seeing these whopping numbers of like 50,000 people coming in organically.
Correct.
So, now when did you start getting serious about it?
So it was probably right around that time.
September, October.
September, yeah.
September,
Perfect.
October 2023.
April, March, we went to Goa. Uske 3 mahine baad, we realized this was happening. September is when we finalized, let's take it seriously. Pehle it was a buyer-seller connect platform. People used to visit Culture Circle and directly click on a button
Okay.
where a website will open up.
Got it.
Or click on a button, they'll get connected to
Till
a reseller.
December, it was non-for-profit, I think.
Till December.
Yeah.
September, we started taking it very seriously. We stepped in and we monetized the platform. The order will now come to us.
Okay.
We will make sure the seller ships on time. We will make sure they're authenticated.
ठीक है.
And then we ship it forward.
हाँ.
So around November, December is when we launched our app
हाँ.
and our revamped website where we were taking orders on our own.
This is November 2023.
Yes,
Yeah.
2023, November, December.
But how
April.
are you planning on monetizing then?
So the customer places an order on our platform
Yeah.
and we take a small commission from the seller.
A cut
The
there.
customer, for it's free.
Huh.
We take a small commission from the seller,
Got
even
it.
if it's listed an X price on the website.
Right.
On their own website,
हाँ.
Culture Circle will be same price aata hai.
अच्छा.
We take a small
Exactly like Sky Scanner.
Sky scanner just
Exactly.
same.
So customer does not have to overpay for anything.
Right.
And then we monetized it around December. And we built an app for the sellers also.
Yeah.
So we started talking to a lot of customers. We started talking to sellers also. पहले तो हमने इसे
But was
जुगाड़
it easy to crack this entire network of setting up like a seller network?
So
No, but it was very fun.
Yeah.
not easy but fun. हमने इतने जुगाड़ करे and building
Offline ही किया होगा सब mostly? नहीं.
Word of mouth. Like
Word of mouth.
WhatsApp groups, all kind of growth hacks.
Wow.
Yeah, completely.
Got it flooded on WhatsApp groups that there's a cool tool, there's a cool tool. And then sellers started realizing that these guys are getting a lot of buyers on their platform because they're getting a lot of users. Then sellers started approaching us. It turned around.
Smaller sellers, which are Instagram sellers.
Right.
They approach us, list
So
us.
they wanted to
also.
be listed on your platform,
Correct.
right? Instead of you going to them and telling them, come list on my
Correct.
platform.
And there was like
Get
no
listed.
formal way to list them.
Yeah.
अब ये तुम website scrape करके उनके साथ partnership करके उनका price दिखाते थे.
Correct.
So when the sellers started approaching us, कि oh wait, you guys
They
are
didn't have any
getting traction.
website.
Huh.
They didn't have any website. They're smaller Instagram sellers like we told you about.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So what we did is we did a jugaad. We shared Google Sheets to all of them. This is a Google Sheet. But the prices bharo, automatically a scraping platform will pick it up and take it live. That is what we do. Like we not even like build any listing platform for them.
And
Yeah.
eventually we built an entire end-to-end supply chain platform. That is the
SourceX.
core SourceX. That is
SourceX.
our core differentiator to this point.
Very cool.
And no other app like that exists in the
Yeah,
world.
you
right?
guys are like the largest supply chain network
Correct.
there, right?
And that's because of that entire app we have built
Wow.
and first in the world product. And that's what we want to take global. And
Wow.
that can be an advantage to
Yeah, I mean,
potentially
it's like
scale
your
this
unfair advantage in a way, right?
globally. Correct. Because it's a win-win for us and for the sellers. They can see their P&L inventory.
Yeah.
Their business is so much
So
better.
much better.
They're earning so much more. They're getting their payments on time. So even they want to partner with us.
Hmm.
So it becomes a win-win. And of course, customer experience also is a win-win-win.
Yeah,
Because the sellers are happy. They're servicing the customers well as well.
got it. But you said, एक second, you monetized December 2024.
Correct.
2023.
2023. When did you start seeing the numbers like really blowing up where you felt like this is getting, shit is
Month
getting
one.
real?
So Jan,
Month
we
one.
did 50 lakhs of revenue.
Okay,
in-
GMV, yeah.
Yeah, 50
Really?
lakhs. 50 lakhs of sales.
Yeah.
April, we were already at a 1.4, 1.5 crore number.
Damn.
So yeah, so that has just been exponentially.
I don't know if I said these numbers out loud in front of my parents, they would never ask me about that.
Yeah, so I think
I don't think so.
another point of view to look at it is
Yeah.
it's high AOV also.
Huh,
I mean, what
take it-
order I'm getting is for like
20,000,
15,000.
Yeah, for sure.
20,000.
At least
So
25K.
it's high AOV also. So
Yeah.
we're in a space where
1,000 orders, it's 1.5 crores.
correct. 1,000
Yeah.
orders is 1.5. 1,000
True.
orders is in a month is what? We're serving 30,
30 orders a day.
But what does your repeat customer rate look like?
So over a 6-month time frame, it's over 40%.
Hmm.
So
Pretty good.
But in sneakers, yeah, matlab, how many sneakers are you going to buy in a month? In a
Sneaker
year?
heads to buy, na?
In a year,
There's no end.
if I'd call us also sneaker heads, साल में 2 ले लोगे, 3 ले लोगे,
कितने ले लेते हो आप साल में?
2 या 3 max. That
How
is
much
the
are
thing.
these for?
BS.
They're what? 20,000-25,000 roughly.
These are what?
So these, so the market price is 28,000, but you can get them on Culture Circle for 22,000 only.
Great. He's
Wow.
doing the Shark Tank.
He's doing the
What
always
are
a
these
good
called?
marketer.
I don't know. Like which
Belugas.
brand is it?
So
Belugas.
Yeezy 350s.
Easy? Achha, these are easy 350s.
Yes.
Yeezy
Right,
350s.
Both of us are wearing Easy 350.
Yeah, so I'm like the static. That's
Right.
the Beluga.
And how much is yours for?
Roughly the same.
30K.
No. On Culture Circle, 21. Otherwise,
The
28.
plugin. No.
Plugins, always,
On
always.
Culture Circle is 21K.
Yeah.
Got it. Tell me,
Stop getting ripped off for paying for your trip.
what's the one shoe that's always like out of stock or sold out, or like you're always trying to fulfill the orders but nahi ho pata hai,
So on
if
other
any?
so on other platforms, a lot of these common shoes like Panda Dunks or
Huh.
Sambas are often out of stock or quite expensive.
Correct.
Or even Jordan 1 High is in a very popular color.
Yeah.
On Culture Circle, that's never the case. So even if it's out of stock, we'll source it especially for you within 21 days.
Okay.
That's our promise.
Got it.
God.
So whatever may be the
Across the
category across the line,
Yeah.
you will get it
Correct.
all done.
If it exists, Culture Circle will get it for you.
Ah. And it's not limited to just sneakers, right?
No.
So,
So tell me a little bit more about they're not SKUs, but what else?
Everything that's hype and luxury, we look at ourselves like that. So everything that's difficult for you to get is what we do. So for example, Essentials, Fear of God, these t-shirts, hoodies, brand is not there in India. So there's no way to get it, but a lot of people want it. It's very hype. So we get them. OVO, Drake's brand, ASSC, then Drew House, Justin Bieber's brand, all of this stuff. Now Stanley mugs were
the
quite
pink
popular.
mugs.
Yeah, the Stanley mugs.
Those mugs.
So, and Road lip cases recently by Hailey Bieber.
Yeah.
Hailey
So
Bieber.
all of that stuff, none of that you can easily get.
Get it in India. You have
And
to wait.
even abroad, it's very difficult to get these things. So anything that's limited edition or very difficult to get, Culture Circle
We
makes it
need to get
available
them,
for you.
Would it be right to say that this is a business or whatever the thing you're solving for is the fact that things that are scarce and difficult to get and
Correct.
luxury items.
Correct.
It's all available here.
Correct.
And you're catering to that need of folks.
Correct.
100%.
Yeah?
Correct.
100%.
Got it.
So we're
we
very
did-
clear that Culture Circle is not for everyone.
Yeah,
I
it
don't-
definitely isn't,
I do
right?
not want every Indian on my platform
Yeah.
at all.
Because it won't fulfill
It's-
your
it's-
purpose also.
It's for the top 1%. Like if you're cool, you're in the culture, you know what's up.
Yeah.
It's only for you guys.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you won't appreciate it, and that's okay.
How do you as founders always keep up and your team with what's in trend in culture and what's the new cool? Like, how are you always on top of
It's
it?
a part of the job.
So like
But-
have to go through like
Any
100
resources,
different
any
things.
yeah, like what's your process like to just know on a day-to-day basis?
I think we have to follow like a lot of.
It's a mix of
Instagram
actually
channels, YouTube
Tech
channels,
and intuition.
following a lot of creators out there, and then obviously tech comes into play.
Any data
Yeah.
points, like how are you leveraging data? I want to know that.
So we're able to see what sells well on our platform,
Yeah.
how much we should be easily guaranteeing the listings of that platform. On the next month, we have to do that. But what we're able to do is we're able to scrape international websites like Goat, StockX, and Poison. So there's this one thing which we've noticed. If suddenly Goat, StockX, or Poison's prices are dropping, that means the
Demand
listings, the demand is different. Listings are skewed.
Okay.
We're able to predict those same trends
Huh.
in India in the next 1 to 4 weeks. So
Right.
trends follow the international
International markets.
markets.
Yeah,
So we're able to
always.
scrape those websites and predict
Mm.
trends
Then
at
what's going to
least-
happen?
at least with 80% accuracy,
Got it.
and works.
Yeah,
we're
so
able to
like
do
tech
that.
and intuition both, no? As he mentioned, all the
Yeah.
websites. And then the intuition part is, honestly, we're just really interested in this stuff also. So anyway, if you look at my Instagram feed, it's anyway about this stuff, or my YouTube is anyway about this stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So that's...
It just comes very naturally and intuitively to you as a
and,
part
and
of
the
what you're
team,
doing.
like we try to make an active effort that everyone who's a part of the team is either cultured or we culture them within the first 3 months.
Wow. Please explain the process.
Please
How do
explain
you-
the. Yeah, I
how
want
do
to
you
know
culture them?
how does one qualify to be a part of the cult at the culture circle?
So I mean,
If I was to get hired,
yeah, I mean, you have to be a little bit like cool.
yeah, you have to be
Mm.
cool. Okay.
Yeah, you have to be cool.
Yeah.
And you need to know like
Does
what's-
school only mean you have to look cool?
No. You need to know what's up in the world. Like for
What are
example,
the trends going on?
for example, do you know what
No,
Bianca was wearing at
no, I don't.
Grammys? So you need to be
Achha,
on top of.
I clearly don't make it to the cut, guys.
Yeah, you need to be on
First
top of
question.
this stuff. For example,
Right,
you know what?
Following those trends, you'll be finally then able to understand what's going behind the scenes.
Yeah.
क्योंकि ये चीजें तुम्हें दिन में 10 घंटे करनी होंगी.
ये सब ठीक है. ये है. But इसके अलावा what else do you look at?
Oh, otherwise,
the
in terms of hiring, I'll tell
they
you.
know what's happening. What else?
I'll tell you. So our hiring philosophy is quite counterintuitive
Okay.
to what's regular, and we have arrived at this over the past 4-5 years. You know, we've made a bunch
So
of
what's
hiring.
your secret sauce? What works?
So I'll tell you, we hire for the person and we over-index on the person and their sincerity and their hunger
Yeah.
much more than their skill set.
Much
So-
more than their skill set.
Much more than their skill set. So
ठीक
what
है.
that would mean is, if I'm hiring for say my marketing team,
Mhm.
I can go in with a person who might be straight out of college or just 1 or 2 years of work experience, even in an agency, does not come from a tier 1 or tier 2 college either,
Right.
right? And might not know everything there is to know yet
So
about
the degree and the college they come from does not matter.
And
Their
e-
academic excellence doesn't matter.
doesn't matter.
So it's
Even their
index, but it's not taken into very high priority.
or
consideration.
even their past work experience, what they have done is is only considered to a certain extent. What I really look for is, what do you want to do next? Okay, you worked in say a marketing agency. Let's take an example for a performance marketing hire.
Higher, yeah. Cool.
Okay, let's make it very specific.
Right.
So this person had run campaigns for like 10, 15, 20 brands for a year and a half in an agency. I went a little bit in depth regarding performance marketing because I've done it for 4 years. Knew thoda bahut basics, but let's say if I have to rate them on skill and past work experience, skill would be a 7 on 10. Past work experience that they had to show was a 6 on 10. Academic qualifications, again, around that.
6, 7.
Yeah, so no IIT or like a top 10, 15
Yeah,
college.
cool.
None of that. What I really liked was they were like, okay, I've done this, but I feel very stuck here. I want to do this. I want to learn about brand marketing. I just do not want to be a performance marketer running meta ads. I want to know how to build a brand from the ground up. These are the courses I'm doing to build a brand from the ground up already. This is what I've learned in those
So
courses.
curiosity, intent, and the fact that they took the ownership to...
And hunger.
Plus
Hunger and sincerity.
How much they want it.
Yeah, how
I
badly
think-
do they
yes.
want it?
Yeah, hunger and sincerity.
Right.
That matters a lot.
So-
I think skills can be transferred.
Correct. Hunger to...
It's learnable.
My point is,
I'll train somebody.
I'll get you from a 6 to at least an 8, 9.
8, yeah.
I'll be able to train you for that.
Right.
But if a person is not sincere or does not have the hunger to grow or kill it in life, I can't train
You
for
can't
that.
do anything, yeah.
Like if the intrinsic motivation is not there, I can't be like, go work or do this or that, right? That has to come from within them to put in the hours. Because we're very clear that, it's a young, growing company. You're going to have to put in the hours.
Do you guys transparently tell them how many hours on an average
Yeah,
they
yeah,
have
Yes,
to work?
yes, upfront.
Very
We-
upfront.
In
We
fact,
don't want it to be a surprise later on.
So what do you tell them?
we ask for overcommitment. So we tell them when when a team member is joining, we tell them it's going to be 6 full work days.
Okay,
Completely.
Monday to Saturday.
And Sunday is going to be for urgent escalations. That's the expectation we
ये भी
set.
बताया जाता है.
That's
And
the
then-
expectation we set.
Okay.
What actually happens is Monday to Friday are full work days only, and Saturday is only for urgent escalation, and Sunday is a leave.
So
But-
you're anyways
So we
counting
prep
in for the
them,
factor
yeah.
of folks who...
And it's a filter.
It's a filter.
Like
it's
a person,
hard
How
filter.
many
it's a
people
very
who
hard
back
filter.
out after that is...
You don't have the jobs done there only. Yeah?
Correct.
Question and you know.
Exactly.
Correct. The reaction to this question
The reaction
Is
is
the
the
answer.
first thing they say.
is the answer.
Is the
And
answer.
I'll tell
Yeah,
you
true.
something very counterintuitive, Dhairya,
Yeah.
is more like our best hires haven't even ever asked that question to us.
I agree.
They
Yeah.
don't even bring that
Bring
up.
that
Ki
up.
work
The
hours
topic
kitne
will
ho
be
gaye?
very-
How many
how many
leaves do I
leaves?
have?
Yeah,
Can I take a leave?
yeah, like
whenever?
all the best hires
Yeah.
who we see with us for the next 2, 3, 5
Performing
years,
really well.
performing
giving
really
it their
well.
all,
I've
yeah.
noticed a pattern. They didn't ask me how many leaves are there,
Because they'll be least concerned anyways.
what's
no?
the work from home policy,
Haan.
or how many hours, how many days in a week. They
Yeah.
don't ask all of this.
Yeah.
That comes at the absolute end. Probably on the day 1 of joining, they'll ask me that.
Right.
But
Ki
not-
Saturday aana hai kya office?
Correct. That's what they'll ask me then.
Got it.
So they're not really in it to try and maximize money right now.
Hmm.
They're in it because they see over the next 3 months, this is the path to non-linear returns.
But that's something you guys figured out now.
Correct.
Any hiring mistakes you made early
So
on?
this was after the mistakes
Everyone
we've made,
in the
yeah.
book.
Yeah.
Every
This is
hiring
after the
mistake.
mistakes
Like
we made
maybe
in the
2, 3
past 5,
mistakes
6 years.
that you think were like
We've
terrible.
gone for like great colleges. We've
Yeah,
gone
yeah.
for like IIT hires, and
You tried hiring folks from IITs.
yeah, we did.
Why do you think that didn't work for you?
They have too many options. So I'll tell you that
Huh.
that hunger and sincerity often, I've seen a lot of folks from, say, coming in from a tier 2 or tier 3 college, they realize that, okay, if they're getting an opportunity here, it's their chance to really beat their batchmates who made it to the IITs. And that's where their hunger and sincerity is unmatched for, because they see that opportunity here. Someone who's coming to the IITs already has that baggage that, oh, I've made it, now I deserve XYZ, and that
True.
entitlement is there. Not, again, it's a broad generalization,
Yeah.
and it's only basis my experience, might be different for others,
Hmm.
but that's that. Someone coming from tier 2 to 3, they have the hunger, sincerity to prove themselves.
I agree.
And those sort of folks work very well with us.
All of our tech team is tier 2, tier 3. Like I come from Maharaja Agraseen. All of our tech team is from Maharaja Agraseen. Like we were able to skim through and pick out the cream of the college.
So like get the
and,
best folks from a tier 2
From
college.
a tier 2 college. Yeah.
And they joined as interns in their
Yeah.
third years.
yeah.
Everyone who joined us as interns is still in the team, full time and 100%
Hmm.
earning more
Than
than
their
counterparts.
batchmates.
Easily.
Wow.
So that's
That's
something
a big win for all of you.
And-
For you as
And plus,
founders.
in
it's a
return, we
win-win,
get-
no?
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they put in the hours as well. They
Yeah,
dedicated.
they gave it their all too.
Yeah,
right?
Correct.
I'm sure, like, if I at 10 p.m., they'd be in the metro right now till 9:30,
Huh.
till 7:30 to 9:30 in the metro. At 10 p.m., if I put a message, urgent bug, this XYZ thing is not
It'll be
working.
resolved in the next
It'll be
1.5
resolved.
hours.
I've seen them work like,
And this is
an
not a part of
example,
their
yeah.
JD. We never put it in a JD saying ye karna padega. It comes from within them. And which is why we work also so hard that we owe it to them to give them this growth.
True.
That they're also taking a bet and investing. So 3 years later, they should be 5x of all of their batchmates. That is my goal.
Hmm. Burning question.
Hmm.
Do you guys believe in work-life balance?
No.
Straight to the point.
No.
What do you believe in then? What's your idea of it?
Work.
So yeah, I mean, I feel
That's hard and
there's,
cute. What is
there's
work?
phases in life, frankly, and I feel like for
No,
us,
explain to me. Like, what do you... No, I genuinely want to know.
Hmm.
What do you think about it? A,
sure.
does the concept even exist? Will it exist ever in life for you? Or do you think, nahi, for a certain period of time, nahi hota, bhai, nahi hota?
For us, work-life balance would not exist. For any team member, it should exist. Else, if they don't have a personal life of their own, they won't be the best
So
product.
are you trying to say founders should not have a personal life?
No, I'm not saying should not, but it is our conscious decision we have taken.
Get to not have.
Huh.
Like it's, see,
Okay.
They don't.
my point is don't complain about the rules of the game you've chosen to play. So if you've,
Very well said.
if you have chosen
Very
to play
well
this
said.
This
game,
is the title of your
Title of the
podcast. This is
podcast.
the title of the
yeah,
podcast.
if you've
Yeah,
chosen to
yeah.
play this game, we knew the rules, we knew the trade-offs. Now we can't be complaining.
You
now.
signed up for this.
We
Yes,
signed
we
up for
signed
this.
up for this.
Now we can't be
Now you
complaining, oh,
can't
it's
be-
too much. It's
So
way
you
too much.
also believe in the idea that, so you do believe that, let's say you had a personal life or were very outgoing, then you wouldn't be able to come to this point?
No, I'd have to sacrifice that.
Okay.
So you need to be willing to make that trade-off and
A
sacrifice.
100%.
Yeah.
For how long?
I mean, I'll tell you,
However long it takes.
it takes, yeah.
Like, I don't think we should be even talking about like having our own personal life that much.
You don't even think about it.
No, I'm not saying we don't think about it. Like once in 2 weeks, we're out for a dinner, for example. So Monday to Friday is completely in office online, right?
Right.
Saturday, Sunday, we have a store in Delhi.
Huh.
We prefer going there around 12 p.m. So
Okay.
yes, yeah, so we do enjoy doing
So it's
that.
7 days.
It's 7 days working for us. We don't complain.
Yeah.
मजे आते हैं. कभी-कभी काफी overbearing होता है. We get through.
Now
Because
we have
if-
our Hyderabad store. We'll be going
Oh, yeah,
there
you
on
guys-
weekends.
Yeah,
So,
we'll be
yeah.
going there on weekends. Like I think shuru mein we'll both go, then it'll become like alternate weekends individually. But that's something. Mumbai comes in 3 months down the line. We'll do
So
that.
again-
Like it brings us happiness. It's stressful sometimes at times. But if we don't do it, nobody else will.
True.
Yeah,
Nobody
you
else
also have to
will.
lead by example. Like very simply, we don't have to push our teams and verbalize telling them to put in the hours because they see us probably doing it.
Yeah. Like I said, they are going to mirror, and you set an example for them, right?
Correct.
You walk the talk and it's going to get done.
Just say,
Correct.
I'll give you simplest example from today. I think we started this around 8 p.m. if I'm not wrong.
7:45, 8. Yeah, you're right.
8.
Yeah.
A lot of my team members were still out there.
Yeah, I saw that.
I've never asked them to stay. We were probably the only folks in the entire office right now who were working, right?
Yeah, it was pretty empty. The floor was empty.
Yeah, and I've never asked them that you have to stay till 7:30 or 8 or whatever. It's out of their own wish.
So our like work timings are come by 10:30, 11, and you're flexible to go back whenever you feel your work is done. A lot of the people leave by 5, 6 p.m. because they have to travel 2.5 hours away. But a lot of people stay back. 8, 9 बजे तक
What
रुकते
if
हैं.
someone's done with their work by 3?
Can't leave.
They can leave?
It's okay.
Yeah.
But if you're done with your work by 3, do you really have enough work? But the metric to track would be, have they come in early to do that?
Got it.
But a lot of the time, some team members do leave. It's okay. Kar lo. It's fine by us. We have flexible work timings. A lot of people choose to stay back.
Got it. And you're a 15-member team now?
No. 15 member was the healthy company.
The healthy company.
Roughly it's 45.
And in culture?
45.
45 now.
So that includes the store staff also, which is roughly
Got
5.
it.
So
these complexities also we're learning to deal with now, managing 45
different
people.
ball game.
Ball
Like,
game, yeah.
yeah.
Different
I think we have
departments
to,
across.
every time it's like, I think 5-10 members added to our team. It's a the ball game changes.
Like,
It's like,
we finally realized the need for an HR, which we didn't for the
You
longest
need
time.
an HR. For sure.
like I think we were just discussing before the podcast, right?
Yeah.
Can you help us train our CS and ops team?
Yeah.
We realized the need for training and development. We
Yeah,
didn't
no.
realize.
As you scale, it's needed.
Correct.
So 8 months ago, we were like, 2 customer service reps, right? Now it's
Serving
15
everybody.
to 20. Yeah,
Correct,
serving
correct.
everyone. Now it's 15 to 20. And it's not like they're not doing it well. It's very tough for us to train each and everyone
One of
individually.
them, yeah. It
To
takes a
allot
lot of your
that time.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
I'll tell you, like, we used to be so against the idea. I was like, we're never going to be a company that's going to do 2 things. Number one, we're never going to have an attendance system in place.
ठीक है.
Because अगर हमें करना पड़ रहा है तो फिर what's the point?
Okay.
Number 2 was we used to think we're never going to ask people for their daily updates, what they've done,
Okay.
etc. Because we should know, we're directly managing them, right? If we're not involved in the details, I should already know what everyone has done today and everything because I'm so involved. And this worked beautifully till like 30 people. Now something happened after 30 people, everything was not being managed. So we had to
Yeah.
institute these things in place.
Yeah.
So we're also realizing why sort of certain large companies have certain
to-
systems in place.
There's
which,
a reason there. There are
which-
certain standard systems,
Correct.
processes in
which
place.
I did not really like
Yeah.
when I was
Yeah.
say interning.
Yeah, even
but
I
now
did.
I see the value behind
True.
it. So we're on our personal journeys of
Of learning,
learning.
unlearning, and then
yes.
That is
Yeah.
fun.
very interesting. Tell me a little bit about when everything was happening, and obviously you guys were doing 50 lakhs a month in your first month to everything else, how did Shark Tank pop up in the midst of all of this, right? Whose idea was this? Was it again a rubbing off somebody?
I was in-
convincing someone like a
it was-
FOMO?
I was in Goa.
I was in US.
I can't make this up.
How many Goa trips do you take?
I
Let's
No,
come to that. इसमें बाद
He
में
was in
आते
Goa,
हैं.
I was in US. There were two
So-
different trips now.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah,
God.
yeah.
Like, it's always a trip.
I can't make this
So
up.
you guys have to take a trip if something revolutionary has to happen in your life. That's
Next,
cemented.
yeah,
I am
100%.
declaring this.
All the best ideas come to us.
So you are in the US. He's
Yeah.
in Goa. What were you
Correct.
doing in the US?
My sister had a baby last year in March.
Oh, lovely. Okay.
She and my brother-in-law, like I said,
Yeah,
live in
yeah,
Mountain
yeah,
View.
yeah,
So me and my family, all three of us, visited for a month in
Okay.
around July.
yeah.
So I was in US, but
July, August, yeah.
July, August, yeah.
Huh.
So I was like waking up at 2 p.m. in US because I was up till 4 a.m.
Okay.
coordinating with India.
Right.
That was super hectic.
Yeah.
But I was in US. He had gone out for a weekend in Goa,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
that's where I think somebody told us that Shark Tank farms are
So
going to close.
yeah. So like someone told us, and I'm right outside this place called Purple Martini in Goa.
I know Purple. It's
Okay,
lovely.
perfect.
It's
Yeah,
great
yeah.
sunset.
So I was
point.
inside Purple Martini. I got a call saying the application deadline is in 2 hours. I got outside Purple Martini, went to my car, took out my laptop. I applied from outside Purple Martini on to like the
These
Shark
guys
Tank
do
form.
the most like legit important things in the most. I don't know what situation.
So 2 hours before the
like, I never
deadline.
think of all of this.
Yeah, 2 hours before the deadline closes, I'm applying.
Yeah.
They even asked for a founder video, and both of us had to be
Video
together.
Also.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it was
Akshay is
uploaded.
not here. I took a montage of our previous videos and ads. मैंने उसको ऐसे combine करके कुछ डाल दिया, and somehow we made it to the next round, which was an in-person audition and screen test. Once you were in that
He came
round,
down from the US.
by that point he was back.
By the
Back.
time, no. So by the time that already asked.
Oh, correct. So
Yeah.
they asked, okay, we got selected for the Delhi audition,
Huh.
but sir was in US. So I
Hey, that is
convinced.
what I was thinking.
I convinced them that please give us a later audition date, which was
Yeah.
the Bombay audition.
Okay.
So even during the audition, there are all Bombay companies. There's only one company from
From
Delhi.
Delhi.
They're like, why you guys here?
Yeah.
Why did you audition in Delhi? I'm
It was-
like, long story.
I think September 3rd or something.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. And so once we made it to the in-person audition now,
Hmm.
we realized यहाँ से we it's our ball
can take
game.
it
Like
forward.
we're
हाँ,
yeah,
समझ
yeah.
गए.
we know we're good at content.
Yeah, yeah.
I
You
mean-
guys are good at speaking.
Yeah. We
we
knew कि
can take it
मसाला वो हम
forward.
दे देंगे.
हाँ.
Like screen test में तो कर लेंगे हम clear.
हाँ.
हो जाएगा उसमें.
Nice.
So that was that.
November
And
end we gave our final round with the judges.
But was funding on your mind before that random person told you Shark Tank forms are closing?
no,
idea
so
was
we
that-
had already raised our
Oh,
funding
from the
was
Info Edge.
from
institutional
Info back in
mentioned.
May. We
Yeah.
already had raised like
Raised.
16.2 crores from them
Yeah.
and about 1 crore from IIMA Ventures prior to that.
How much equity had you diluted?
20%. So
Hmm.
at that point, we'd already raised that.
Got it.
So again, didn't particularly need
You were not
capital,
looking for capital, yeah.
and we were profitable. So again,
Oh.
weren't even burning. So
Right.
weren't looking for capital.
Right.
But definitely, like some of the Shark Tank sort of panelists, the sharks, they can add tremendous value. So that was one of the reasons we went. Second was it's a great marketing platform.
It is.
Naturally, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
become
for
a
sure.
brand overnight.
Like you said in the pitch.
Yeah, like you said.
It's a great,
great
marketing
air-
platform.
air
I'm
ho
not
jayenge.
disagreeing with
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, no, like I'm like, if you guys invested in us and I got this
Yeah.
opportunity to be on national TV, would you not ask me to take
Yeah.
it? So I'm being a great founder being here, right?
Like we loved, we actually liked the two judges we got.
Yeah.
So it was Kunal and Ritesh.
Ritesh,
We were
yeah.
super excited for
Yeah.
them to join
Yeah,
our
yeah.
cap table.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, yeah, we got good traction.
Why was it wrong? But why is it wrong if a founder is even coming for marketing? Aren't you supposed to be a platform enabling people getting better marketing?
Correct.
I agree.
Inevitably, indirectly.
and
There is a reel
all
which
of
went
the-
viral for Aman also.
all of the
which-
sharks have said
Yeah,
that
all
in
the
different
sharks have said it
podcasts.
In different podcasts that if you want good marketing, come to Shark Tank.
They're like, even if you
हाँ सब बोलते हैं ना
verbatim they said, even
कि
if you
marketing
don't
के लिए
want the
कितना
money,
बढ़िया है तुम्हें
Correct.
deal मिले या नहीं
नहीं
मिले
मिले,
पर marketing
पैसे
तो
नहीं भी
तगड़ी हो जाती
चाहिए,
है
पैसे नहीं भी चाहिए तो मार्केटिंग के लिए आ जाओ, मैं तो
करना क्या
रेकमेंड
है?
करता हूँ.
हाँ,
वही तो
nothing
किया.
wrong with it.
Yeah, so
किया भी.
I'll tell you, वहाँ ना there are multiple dynamics.
ठीक
So
है.
the sharks are also trying to maximize their own screen time. वो
सही
अलग
बात
चलता
है.
है.
हाँ, उनको
There are
भी
two.
अपना- It's very yeah I know.
Yeah,
So
मतलब
there's an
both
entire
and Lenskart are
dynamic
going
that's
for
happening.
IPO.
हाँ.
It's obviously because of
And I get it.
years.
मतलब I don't blame them.
Good
यार
for
करो
them.
अपना
Good for
screen
them
time
also,
maximize.
right?
It's good.
You are playing your
Game, yeah.
Everyone's
Don't
playing their own
everyone's
game.
playing
don't
their own
complain
game.
about the rules of the
Everyone's
game you
game,
chose to
you're
play.
fine.
But this is the game.
Legit. Got it. But tell me something.
Hmm.
Anything that was very interesting in the pitch but was not shown or not aired.
Everything.
What do you mean everything?
So technically, pitches go for roughly 1 hour, 1 hour 15 minutes.
Correct.
That's what we heard from previous founders.
And
Huh.
airing
Plus-
time is 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
the
That's the
people
slot
who
you
were
get.
there in our batch. There were like 10 other companies.
Huh.
Everyone who went before us, they said, हाँ यार
Correct.
1-1.5 घंटा अच्छा चला. It was stressful. हमारा 2.5 घंटे चला था.
Yeah.
So 2 hours 45 minutes.
So that's
we were
why if
standing.
you rewatch
Yes.
the pitch, at
Huh.
the end you'll see me completely sweating because 3 घंटे हुए थे in front of like 20 times,
lights,
like,
yeah.
lights, and, like, it's just hectic. And I
It
was sick. I had like 102 fever that morning. Quite
Yeah.
hectic.
My God. Okay.
So I had like they had like Shark Tank is very supportive that way. They had put like chocolates, my inhaler because I was coughing.
Okay.
Everything
And
behind the
water
television.
also, they had kept,
Water,
yeah.
warm water behind the television screen.
So you were unwell during that pitch.
extremely unwell.
हमने Shark Tank pitch से the morning हमने एक दूसरे की नजर उतारी है.
And
Like,
I
is this
had-
happening because
Yeah,
of
Because
this?
of this, yeah.
Yeah, we can't fuck up on national television.
Television.
Yeah.
I was chewing strepsils while we were
Walking into the-
thing
Damn it.
because I could barely speak.
Ah.
Bombay weather is bad.
Bombay weather is
Yeah,
bad.
it's
ये
bad.
कौन सी
Every
EQA
time-
में रह रहे हो पहले वो देख लो.
Yeah,
Every time I fly to
Bombay
Bombay,
weather
I
is
get
bad.
sick.
Yeah,
Please.
Bombay weather is not that good.
Don't probably you're just used to breathing polluted air, and then when you get in a little clean air, you get this problem.
Body
Oh,
doesn't process.
oxygen.
Oxygen. Oh, what
Oxygen,
is
this
this?
is
My
what
body is
oxygen
not
feels
used to
like.
this. I'm reactive. This is reacting now.
Nah,
Shit.
it's
Too much
too
oxygen.
humid. It's too uncomfortable there for Mumbai.
Okay, probably
Mumbai-
the moisture content in
Yeah.
the air is not.
Mumbai
okay
has
for
to like
that.
really grow on you. We've been to Mumbai for like
It has to grow on you. I agree.
Yeah.
I've lived there the first year. I hated it.
yeah, exactly.
I hated
Mumbai
it.
has to grow on you.
It's a city that has to grow on you. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I agree.
I mean,
Unfortunately,
it hasn't
hasn't-
grown
हाँ,
on me yet.
How
Unfortunately,
many
hasn't.
times have you been there?
Quite a lot.
हाँ,
actually.
8-9 times easy.
उससे कुछ नहीं होता.
Fair, fair.
I stayed there for like 365 days and I still didn't like it. Every
हाँ, but-
single day.
Coming back to your point, with the Shark Tank, the edit, what happens is
Yeah.
they can really push any narrative they want.
Correct. It's up to them how the final
They
piece.
have so much content.
Yeah.
You can cut it out and edit it. So,
So
when
for-
we were
And you
watching
have
the
no
pitch-
take on what goes out finally.
Nothing.
Nothing.
We see it for the
वो
first
सिर्फ air
time.
होता है.
We see it for the first time. So, for example,
Yeah.
Vinita had some very legitimate questions about our business,
Yeah.
quite valid points,
Yeah.
frankly. But what really happened during the pitch was she asked a question. We gave her a very fair response to that, addressing her concern. Then she asked another one. We responded. Happened for 7-8 questions, right? She was quite satisfied. She appreciated that as well. In fact, when we counted also from 240 CR to 120 CR valuation, she's like, honestly, that's a very good counter. You guys have proven me wrong. She conceded there that you're
Sure.
here not only for marketing. And then Akshay also made a point that, we wanted to prove to you guys that
Yeah.
we
If
are for a
we are
deal.
here for
There
a
was a
deal.
line ki
Correct.
we're getting this deal because we wanted to prove we're here not just for marketing.
So Akshay actually said that, right? So a
Achha.
bunch of that stuff happened. But all of that got cut out to just her asking us 7-8 questions. And
Yeah.
it seemed like we didn't respond.
You didn't respond, and then she kind
Now
of.
I understand even Sony team has their editing time.
हाँ, मतलब if they
Yeah,
have to
their-
cut down
their
to 20,
TRP also
25
has to
their
minutes.
TRP
Come on.
also. So
I
it's,
mean, at the end of the day, it's a mass.
you know what you're signing up for.
reality
मतलब ये
I
TV.
think at the end of the day, it's marketing for them also, na?
Correct.
Everything is marketing.
Correct.
There are 3 people at stake: the judges, the Shark Tank and / Sony team, and the founders.
Founders, yeah.
Everyone is here for maximizing their
100%.
Good
Correct.
for everyone.
good
for
for
everyone.
everyone. It's a
Worked out
win-win.
well.
I feel it's a win-win in any
It's a
situation.
win-win.
Win-win-win.
Yeah, for any founder.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
fact that you just made it through is great.
correct. Like for us, we believe we became like a national brand overnight because
Yeah.
especially in a category like ours, right?
Yeah, like
People,
yours.
when they're spending 15, 20, 30, 40,000 by a credit card on a website,
Yeah.
just knowing, okay, there's real people behind it with some credible background.
Yeah, the face value that got added and the
Correct.
fact that they also knew that people like a Kunal Behel and a Ritesh
Correct.
were also so invested in what you guys
Correct.
wanted to take this to, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So that stuff just really helps
Like
out.
that's validation from the Titans publicly.
Yeah.
So that
True.
was very good.
And which was, one thing that really worked out in our favor was during the entire pitch, right? The only criticism we got was you guys have 17 crores in the bank, you're profitable.
हाँ, इतना पैसा
So
है तो.
you're only here for marketing, which was a fair criticism, I would say.
Okay.
But when it comes to the entire product brand, all of them had only good stuff to say.
They loved it, yeah.
Yeah, even at the end, Aman was like, I'll be a customer.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, he said
So
He appreciated the UI
UI UX of your app
He-
too.
correct.
It's
So
like I was
he had already
searching-
used the product,
product.
before
Yeah,
us
yeah,
doing.
yeah.
So it was great validation
Yeah.
on a national television about our product
Product
about
in
our app,
general, yeah.
everything as well. So
And
like
all
we,
the things that you got right already,
Correct.
right?
So we-
Because if they were validating for it, it did mean something.
so we couldn't have asked for more than
More,
that, to be
yeah.
very honest.
Yeah. But when you walked off with the deal to it getting aired in between that period and when it got aired, how did Shark Tank change things in the business sense and the operations? And was it like, did everything actually like go bonkers after
So,
the
like,
episode aired?
after the episode aired.
After the
yeah,
episode.
it went nuts.
Yeah.
So we made either a very wise call or a very stupid call. We redesigned all of our platforms from scratch. So there are
They
4
coded
platforms.
all of our platforms from
Nice.
So
scratch.
so our existing platform had
But they
become.
all had appreciated it.
So no,
anyways.
our existing platform
Could not handle scale.
could not handle scale. It was
Oh.
what's called, it's a Jenga block.
Huh.
So new features were put on top of each other.
Each other, yeah.
With smaller teams, and obviously they were not very structured.
We were using the same code that we wrote in
Wrote in Goa.
Goa.
Correct.
I got it.
So they were not very structured. For
Yeah.
example, very basic example, when we used to send a notification to all of our users, our app used to crash. Suddenly 5,000 people are on an app.
Achha.
And imagine our app could not handle 5,000 users
traffic
ka traffic.
also,
And then Shark
I
Tank
mean,
was
look
gonna
at
retire.
Book My Show handling Coldplay very well. If our app can't do 5,000 users, how are we ever going to get Travis on a platform?
Oh, damn it. Yeah.
So we redesigned 4 platforms, which was Culture Circle website, Culture Circle app,
हाँ.
SourceX website, SourceX app.
अच्छा, चारों
हमने
unit.
नवंबर में जब हमें कॉल आया था ना ऑडिशन का, we decided, guys, right now is the time, let's go all out and
तभी
redesign
बोल
करते
दिया
हैं.
था
हाँ,
क्योंकि टाइम लगेगा.
हमें पता ही था ना कि जब एयर होगा
हाँ.
इन जैन फेब
एक
तो
तो एयर होगा, वो बोलो मत. एयर होगा.
Air होगा.
जब एयर हो जाएगा
हो जाएगा.
तो फिर ये होगा. बट क्या हुआ फिर दिसंबर 30th को
We made a miscalculation also about our airing date.
yeah. So what we did was, after we did the pitch, we were like very sure हम air हो जाएंगे because of the fiasco which happened. So
You're welcome, bro. You're welcome. You're welcome, Shark Tank. All the TRP you got.
our calculation was,
Yeah.
there was a new shark in our panel, Kunal Bahl,
Yeah.
and the Shark Tank team, by the way, does not tell you when exactly does your episode come out.
Okay.
They're like, whenever it's going to come out, we'll tell you 3 days prior.
Oh, okay.
So we did our own calculations. We were like, Kunal Bahl panel पे है, new shark है, हमेशा last 3 seasons में the new panelist
हाँ.
comes in the middle of the season. So
अच्छा,
we
ऐसा है.
estimated it to be January 3rd week or 4th week,
Okay.
and that is how our tech platforms are proceeding.
Got it.
Suddenly, December 30th, we get an email from Shark Tank.
This is Jan 2nd, I think. No, December 30th.
December
Correct.
30th when you were in
Correct.
Bali.
Correct.
Well,
Correct.
we'll come to this later actually. You know,
Yeah,
Bali,
yeah.
Goa, US. Yeah.
We get an email that your airing date is January 7th. And we panicked like anything.
Yeah.
There was no way. Like the earliest deadline we'd given the team was Jan 20th. Tak, we'll get all the platforms ready because our calculation was Jan 29th.
Helter Skelter.
Yeah, Jan 20th, 29th we'll get aired roughly. So we'll have some margin also.
Margins,
for testing.
So
And
everyone worked over the clock.
Nobody celebrated New Year's from the tech team.
Damn.
Jan 2nd को हमने 3 दिन में, जो 3 हफ्ते में होना चाहिए था,
Correct.
Jan 2nd को हमने deploy किया
Kudos
है,
to the team, bhai.
सब कुछ. Yeah.
And no, I'll tell you, like there's a video. So our episode, right? So Shark Tank starts at 8 p.m. on Sony Live, okay? And at 8 p.m. our website wasn't functioning. And I told Akshay, I was like, and Akshay had gathered the entire team upar
ऊपर 5th floor.
for screening. So like team is upar, I'm sitting with our tech team, 4 engineers, because the website is not working.
Yeah.
And I called up Akshay, I'm like, listen, if we get aired first in the episode, we are gone. Because the website is down, product page is down, nothing is working.
Damn.
And Akshay's like, nahi, we'll get at third because there was so much drama. We're also making random calculations. So 8 p.m. they start. We're not the first pitch. There's sigh of relief.
हाँ.
हो रहा है. We're fixing. चल रहा है. 8:20-24 पे Akshay's like, we are second. It started. And I was like, shit. Now in the next 3-4 minutes, you'll see. We fixed the entire code. We pushed out a new version
Release,
live.
yeah.
Pushed out a new release, and then we're running from the 4th floor to the 5th floor when the episode has started. So I did not see the start of my episode for the very first time.
First time, yeah.
So and I'm running with engineers. We're coming up, and everyone's clapping. Oh, these guys are here, and I'm there. And we didn't want to panic the team. So
Yeah, obviously.
you know, Akshay comes to me and then Kaan mein Akshay's like, bro, is it fixed? Just tell me yes or no. I'm like, bro, yes, it's fixed. The release just went out. And
Just
it was
in time.
Just
Just
in
in
time.
time.
There's a
Just
video of our Shark Tank episode has started,
Yeah.
and I am coming up, and the release is being done. Because the laptops are open. Laptop खोल के हम भाग रहे थे.
लैपटॉप लेके आए थे ना.
लेके भाग रहे थे कि
But
release.
जरा भी अगर delay होता, would the impact
You
be
would have-
very huge?
Yeah, because that is your
Missed out a lot of
moment.
Traffic.
सारे users देख के आ रहे हैं.
Imagine that's a moment in the spotlight.
Yeah, true.
People are Googling Culture
Googling you at
Circle
that-
everywhere.
Those
and
20 minutes are your golden.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that point
Slot.
it would not have worked.
So you did make it happen.
And I'll tell
Yeah.
you, so what happens is in the first ad break is typically in the middle of pitch, there are 2-3 ad breaks. So the first ad break is when you see a spike. Because
Right.
शुरू में तो pitch देख रहे
Pitch
हैं.
देख रहे हैं,
जैसे ही
हाँ.
first ad break है तो सबको कहता है
सबको,
website
क्या
देखते हैं.
है? Let us see.
And before that, the maximum users at one point we've seen on our app and site was 3,000 because after that it would crash. 3,000 हम number ही कभी नहीं देख पाए. We send out a notification to 1 lakh users. The moment it crossed 3,000, app would crash. So हमने 3,000 से ऊपर कभी number नहीं देखा था of concurrent users. In that ad break, that number was like 9,800.
Damn.
And I'm checking for the first time where I'm like, bro, app is working. Check website. He's like, bro, website's also working. People like, oh God, it's working. Finally.
That was your biggest.
That was the first
biggest
time it was tested
Yeah.
and it was on live Shark Tank audience, actual people,
Yeah.
and everything worked.
Everything.
And we
worked.
were like, oh
touch
my
wood,
God.
just in
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Just in time. But
Very
yeah, I
interesting.
think
God's
after
plan.
the episode we've got good amount of traffic.
Yeah.
Our traffic has been 5x roughly. Revenue has
And that was on a very
3x,
big
4x.
base. Like the point is like we weren't typical of the scale of the companies that often pitch at Shark Tank also, right? Most are slightly earlier stage.
Yeah.
So for them, the magnitude of jump they see is like, oh shit, 10 times, 4 times, 5 times. So, but we didn't expect it zyada because we already had a very large denominator या base
Yeah,
going
correct.
forward.
True.
But I mean, Shark Tank is something.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the YouTube release even more than the Sony
Even
level.
better.
Yeah.
Because this
So-
time they did not do what do you call it, TV, no. This time they did only app based.
App based, correct.
So it's Sony Live
Subscriptions,
subscription is
Subscription.
like expensive. It's
It is.
1,600 you have to get annually.
Yeah, yeah,
But
I paid for it.
after a YouTube release, we actually saw an
Saw
even
that.
larger spike,
Yeah.
and we got lucky also. Like in a certain sense, we're the most viewed
Shark
Yeah,
Tank.
pitch on the Shark
Pitch on
Shark
Tank.
Tank India. Yeah, I think
India
2.7
YouTube.
mil, 2.5
Yeah.
whatever.
Damn.
Shark Tank India YouTube channel. So that way the pitch also people really liked. And
No, I've seen the comments. Everybody's like, this is the best Shark Tank pitch. I love these guys. They're so good. Vinita ko ye kar diya. Aman ko kar diya. Aman
And then there was a lot of wow, Namita looks so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she did.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
I
She
agree.
did. She looked lovely.
in person also.
I think the
way
bangs,
she carries herself at that
Correct,
age. No,
correct.
honestly, she has a great dressing sense.
Agreed.
Correct.
Yeah,
Agreed.
she carries herself really well. She's very graceful, dignified, and
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
chic.
And for us to like, she supported us throughout the pitch. Like,
And she
Yes.
loved you guys.
Yes,
correct.
she
But
supported
us throughout.
rooting for
She
you
was
till the
rooting for
very
us,
end.
yes.
She supported us
if there
throughout.
was no loyalty,
Loyalty.
you would have
You would have
definitely
taken
gotten
her,
her.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys were also inclining.
We still
kept
might.
asking, royalty. hata do.
Royalty.
Yeah.
Like, she could have removed it. We would have 100%.
No, we
got
still
it.
might.
फिर.
We still might.
We look for hunger.
You look for hunger.
Hunger.
We look for
Yeah.
hunger.
Right.
How much does somebody want it?
it.
Yeah.
I get it. Very interesting. Okay. I mean, I could keep going on, but I have a last few questions for you. Tell me now that everything's lovely and right, you're on this upward hill and, God willing, it should just go up from here, right? Tell me that where do you see Culture Circle going, let's say in the next 1 year? I'm not asking you 5 years, but just tell me next 1 year, are there any new categories that you're planning to introduce? I know your Hyderabad store opened on 15th Feb. Congratulations for that. You also told us Bombay's coming up in the next 3 months. So is the focus going to shift to more offline stores while still scaling the online circle? Tell me a little bit more about what's next.
Both.
Hmm.
So our obviously major channel is always going to be online. That's where we know is the mass audience
Correct.
come from.
Correct, yeah.
But offline, we want to be in at least the 8 cities by this year.
But don't you think the offline stores are a lot of heavy capital investment?
So it is. It is. No, for us, it is.
Yeah.
Currently, we're doing an MBA model with Broadway.
MBA?
MBO. So that's a
MBO.
multi-brand store. Yeah.
Okay, multi-brand store.
Multi-brand outlet.
Outlet.
Correct. So we're doing that with Broadway. But we have already designs for
वो
at least 3 more
DLF wala,
stores.
Delhi wala Broadway.
No, so Broadway is a new age concept, which is an ambience mall.
Yeah, that's
Correct.
the one,
Yeah,
right? In
correct.
Delhi.
So
Got
it's
it.
not
Correct.
very heavy investment.
Ah,
We've already planned 3 exclusive brand stores currently.
lovely.
This is going to be higher investment.
Great.
But for us, retail stores are not a money-making machine. For us, it's a consumer touch point
Okay.
because it's a very high trust category we're in. So the
People sometimes want to touch and feel.
exactly.
Ah,
I just feel the
and
product-
validate that ये actual में real
Actual
है,
या
fake
नहीं है.
नहीं
If
है.
something goes wrong,
कि can I come back and
can I come and at
Ah,
least
right,
hold
true.
someone accountable?
Yeah.
So when
Yeah.
when we launched our Delhi store in September 2024,
This
so
was
not
good.
immediately, but within 1-2 months, we started seeing higher conversion rates online.
This is Vasant Kunjwala.
Vasant Kunj.
Correct.
Yeah. So
हाँ.
this was September 2024.
ठीक है.
So Hyderabad is right here.
Right.
Mumbai next. So 8 cities.
Why Hyderabad second?
Yeah, Hyderabad is a very growing
Did the
market.
data
Yes,
pointed?
data overlap. So our online sales overlap for sure.
हाँ.
Pointed Hyderabad hoga.
Okay.
And from all the sellers we spoke to,
हाँ.
कि Hyderabad market कैसी है, there's a lot of money to be
Very
made.
weird. I never thought Hyderabad would
Nobody
have.
does.
हाँ.
So, abhi, for example,
Very high
Hyderabad's
disposable
grown-
income.
Not Bangalore.
Very high disposable income and lesser avenues to spend. So
Correct.
it's a mix of both.
Oh,
So if you look at
yeah.
it that way, in Delhi and Bombay, people
Mm.
still have a DRF Emporium, a Geo World Plaza
Correct.
to go to and shell out money,
Money.
when they want to
Yeah.
get that
yeah.
benefit, or like they
Correct.
feel like shelling out a lot of money.
Yeah.
But in a lot of cities, like people especially travel from Ludhiana to Delhi
Hmm.
to come for a DLF Emporium just for a weekend, just so they can buy Gucci, LV, Prada, etc. Because it's otherwise not accessible. So there's also about a high disposable income and what are the avenues that people
that
have.
we're looking to spend.
Correct. So we can be that avenue for people to be able to fulfill these aspirations
And it's
and
doing really well.
get access.
Like we've just done a soft launch. Official launch is on 8th, 9th March.
Yeah.
Soft launch is where we do minimal marketing
Okay.
Just
and it's
test
more
out-
revenue than the Delhi store in 2 days.
in 2 days.
We were shocked.
Like it's going nuts.
Lovely.
Like our store manager told us he will never be able to guess which person is going to come out of which car. He'll
And
be
क्या
wearing the
खरीद के
most
जा
ऐसे
रहा है,
down to earth
I know,
clothes. It's a normal slippers, but
Yeah.
they'll walk out of a Merc and they'll just give you cash and buy a
Yeah,
Travis
yeah,
pair. Like there's no way to know. Hyderabad growing industry and so is Chennai, by the way.
Wow.
Like very new insight we've had.
Chennai.
Chennai.
Lucknow as well.
Lucknow.
Yeah.
Yeah, these
अरे क्या
cities
चल रहा है
people
यार?
do not estimate.
Yeah,
सबको
you'll
लगेगा
never
ना,
think
you know
ना
what's
कि
Mumbai,
Bombay,
Delhi.
Bangalore,
You know what's
Delhi.
one of our biggest markets? You'll never guess even I'll give you 20 tries. It's a city in Gujarat.
Rajkot.
No.
I don't know.
Surat
Surat.
is one of our biggest markets.
For all the right reasons. They have such
Correct.
wealthy, rich families.
Correct, but-
I'm going to attend one of the richest
Yeah.
families' weddings also.
In
yeah,
Surat?
in Jaipur.
Invite.
They are doing it in Jaipur.
Invite
the
us, no?
destination is-
Yeah.
I would love to. I'm
Maybe
so
your plus
excited
ones and
for
plus
it.
twos.
Yeah,
Sure,
invite
sure.
us.
So I'm going, so I know I can. No, they are. And they'd spend that money also.
Yeah.
We should do a store in Surat, Maybe.
That's the plan.
See, that's the idea, no? Exactly.
They'll go nuts. Met
That's the
enough
plan.
2 of the wealthiest families to know this.
Similar scene in Hyderabad. Basically,
Achha,
you're asking.
ऐसे
That's-
होता है.
it's
The moment
something.
we have a store in a geography,
हाँ.
so Hyderabad, I know online conversion rate will boost up max.
Correct.
Because people would feel comfortable. कि अच्छा
Right.
ये तो रहा store.
हाँ, जब
अगर
off-
कुछ
हाँ, तो
गलत
फिर
हुआ
direct,
तो-
indirect, proportionally the
Online
Correct.
also.
online
grows.
thing will also
Online
go up.
only.
Right.
And then obviously global markets.
So yeah, 3 main things. As
So
you said, no?
international expansion is also on the cards.
So 12 months, we have very specific goals. Like
ठीक
12
है.
months, eight stores.
Right.
This
Across
year-
India.
Across India, we want to do categories, multi-category diversification. So we have done great with sneakers.
You have handbags?
We have handbags now,
Yes.
recently launched. We
Hmm.
have apparel, jackets, t-shirts, hoodies, etc.
Nice.
Now we do more accessories, let's say sunglasses
Yeah.
and collectibles like Stanley Road, stuff like that.
Right.
So we're going to keep on
Right.
growing there.
You have
And again-
accessories and stuff also.
Correct. So the entire idea is world's largest collection now available to you in India.
Right.
That's the entire promise. So that's that. And the third thing is we want to be in at least 18 to 20 geographies in the next 12 months. The idea is going to be very online first. How we scaled Culture Circle online for almost a year without any
Luxury
stock.
and hype is not just, but sorry for cutting you down, but I was just thinking out loud. Even cars are also luxury items though, but
So
that won't
that's-
fit into
no,
this.
It will. So that's a vision. For example, if tomorrow Ferrari
Yeah.
is launching, say, a limited edition,
Yeah.
say F430s or
कोई
like
भी
Yeah,
model.
koi bhi model, let's say only 8
Correct.
pieces. The idea is when they want to launch it in India, Culture Circle should be the place where they
For-
auction it.
Right. Oh,
That's the idea.
where they auction it.
That's the idea
Correct.
because we have the
Where
audience.
people can bid for it.
Because you have the people who would actually even have the
Exactly.
money to-
Right.
We have the audience
Makes a
for
lot
it.
of sense.
Now
It's a distribution play.
DLF is opening a project called DLF Dahlias where
Okay.
the apartments will start from 100 crores. So my point was, why can't the DLF Dahlias penthouse be auctioned at Culture Circle? DLF, if you're listening, it's a genius idea.
It is.
But-
It is. I
Yeah.
mean, the people who are spending here
Correct.
would be able to. Yeah,
Correct.
it makes a lot
so
of sense.
because that's the same audience that we have, that's also
So you'll
consumer.
not just be a marketplace then, but also a place to kind of
everything,
come in and-
everything
yeah,
hype
very
and
smart,
luxury.
very smart. I can see
Everything
where you
hype
guys
and
are going.
luxury,
Yeah.
That's why the name is Culture Circle.
Culture
no?
Circle.
Everything that's
You
hype
can
and
do
luxury.
whatever you
Whatever
And
you
it's
want. You're
cool.
not limiting yourself to just
Yes.
Correct.
one category or one arena.
Correct.
That's why I asked the cars bit because I had
That's
that
why there's no
question.
sneakers or kicks in the name. for
Huh. It
that
shouldn't
matter.
be also, no? Because then it limits you as a brand.
Correct.
Correct.
Lovely. Okay. So one last question for the two of you. I'm sure anybody who's still stuck around and is watching this,
Hmm.
they either are very, very passionate and into anything hype and luxury,
Hmm.
or they've loved the two of you and the banter and just the grit you had as founders,
Or you.
or me,
Yeah.
probably, or they've just loved your individual career trajectories and want to do something similar to you guys. What are 2 or 3 of the most important, not advices or lessons,
Hmm.
but 3 things that you think you guys have done right, which can just make their journey a little less grueling, I would say, because starting up is not easy, right? Being a founder is not easy, and I think the road to the top is always lonely.
Hmm.
It is always lonely. It's like just a fact. So, what do you think has kept you guys going, and what's helped you? It could be like an advice from a mentor, from people on, your board as well, or like team members, anything that's stuck with you and you think has got you till this point.
So I'll start. Like, I think the number one advice or learning I have had is that always, if you're starting up, never do it alone and have like a co-founder to do it with. And like brownie points if he's your best friend.
Yeah.
But like the learning has been, and why I say this, like you have a co-founder like who you can be trustworthy with, right? You will have shit tons of obstacles when you're starting up. Like we mentioned, कि हम 7 दिन काम करते हैं.
Huh.
Sometimes when I'm sick,
Hmm.
right, I'm not able to get to a laptop 24/7. I can blindly say, this guy will
He'll
take
take care of
over my
everything.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he'll do it 90% well
And without
Yeah.
complaining,
without complaining.
or even making it a point of bringing it up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
he is able to offload all accounts and books to me,
Hmm.
or credit cards to me, he's also putting a great factor of trust there.
True.
So because you cannot do anything and everything alone,
Alone. Yeah.
because there's too much to do, and
sure.
you will succumb under the pressure.
Hmm.
Eventually, it will hit
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
because it is a very pressurizing thing to do.
True.
You will eventually succumb under the pressure.
Yeah.
At least when 2 of you are together, you can share out that pressure, or at least both of you are in the same
संभाल
boat.
लेंगे, हाँ.
Both of you in the same boat, निकल जाएगा, कुछ ना कुछ हो
हो
जाएगा.
जाएगा.
But that helps. And
Right.
obviously, there's always this factor of 2 minds are better than 1. You always have a healthy debate going on. What should be done? What should not be
Two
done?
different perspectives also, and
Two
to
different
not just
perspectives.
look at one situation and think this is the only way to deal with it, right?
Correct. So, for example, his mindset is mostly going aggressive into things. ये करता है. My mindset is more into let's take a calm approach and let's take a calculated approach.
Okay.
So, whenever we're able to debate it out, now,
Yeah.
so we're able to see the sides of both.
You see the larger picture there.
Larger picture.
Yeah.
Sometimes we agree to his point of view. Either aggressive खींच देते हैं.
Hmm.
Sometimes you're able to see my view. Let's take a
इसका-
calculated
yeah.
approach.
Correct.
करना चाहिए नहीं करना चाहिए. Do the metrics make sense?
Right.
So that's why 2 POVs also matter. See, number one thing would be if you're ready to start up, take some time before you start up. Take some
Find
time.
the right co-founder.
Find the right co-founder.
Hmm.
Yes, that'll be the number one thing for me to say.
Okay. What about you?
I'm too.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah.
So I think again, like life is short, frankly. So don't try to take life too seriously.
Yeah.
I feel one of the biggest tactical advantages I've had personally is not taking life too seriously, because what that allows me to do is fail very comfortably.
Yeah. That's so well
Because-
said. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because then there's no fear of failure. There's no too much baggage associated.
Yeah.
The day we start taking ourselves too seriously, or
seriously.
start thinking that, oh, we've made it, or we've
That's
something,
when it'll go down.
that's because our risk-taking capacity will go down, because
True.
we'll be afraid of failing in public.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what happens, I know we're both very comfortable still failing in public, saying, oh, we messed up,
Hmm.
for example, right? Oh, this didn't work out.
Hmm.
Because the day that stops, the day we start having our egos, whether individual or
Yeah.
joint,
Yeah.
we'll not be like truest entrepreneurs in that sense. It'll start going down, right? We'll be doing things for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. 100%.
So just don't take life too seriously. As a consequence of that, you don't take yourself too seriously. There's less ego. You're overall, a lot.
Party
humbler.
and go and give a CAT exam, get a 99,
Yeah.
96, go to Bali, go to
Be-
Goa, build an app in 3 days, take the website
So-
live, live life on the edge.
Yeah, you
Hustle mode.
you need to be just not afraid of failure to
No, on
for a
serious
lot.
note, but yeah.
Yeah, for a lot of these things.
Succumb,
And that comes to his point also. And because life is short, just like
Yeah.
do it with the people you like.
Like,
hanging around
yeah.
with. Like,
yeah.
the
yeah.
day you have to drag yourself to work for more than 3 days in a row, I would say
You're
it's time
clearly
to,
not in the right place.
time to
Yeah.
reevaluate.
That happens
Yeah.
once in a while, but can't be 2-3 days in a row.
Yeah, it shouldn't.
yeah.
It shouldn't. Then
Yeah.
it's a clear indicator. It's a red flag.
Correct.
Agreed.
Like whenever you're very excited for like Fridays and dreading
Yeah,
Mondays.
that's a
Yeah.
green
it's-
flag and a good indicator.
Correct. So I think that's number 2.
Nice. Okay. Anything else that you guys want to kind of conclude with?
I think
Yeah.
if you guys, whoever is stuck by till now,
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure you're very hungry for
Yeah.
watching us speak. Drop your CVs if you want to get hired. Team at
Always be
culturecircle.com because no
Sure.
shit if you've stuck around till this time.
True.
You 100% either want to learn or
Yeah.
know about this industry.
Nice.
Drop
Yeah.
that's drop
And
your
my
CVs.
channel and my podcast is a great place to get
We're,
started.
we're always hiring. You can see the
Yeah.
hiring highlights on our profiles.
Drop your CV to team at culturecircle.com.
And the profiles you love doing, like the stuff you love doing, even though that might not be the work you've already done. That's okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But whatever energizes you.
Wow.
Do that.
Pretty cool. I think that's a great conclusion. Nothing
That's
better
a
could
good
have
one.
been possible. So they are great at marketing, no doubt, and leveraging every platform the right way. But no, coming back on a serious note, I think I've had a blast and a ball of a time speaking to
Likewise.
the two of you, getting to know so much about both of you individually and how you've built this up from scratch together. I think everyone who's watched this till this point would have had a great time too. I'll be linking all of Devansh and Akshay's links in the description, their socials and Culture Circle socials as well. Do check them out and do send them your resumes if you genuinely want to work at such a cool and vibrant place wherein you still get to try out something new, right? You're encouraged to make mistakes but learn from them fast and build for something that's going to go global very soon. So I think that's it from my end. Anything else? I hope you had a great time.
Yes.
On
It
the
didn't. It
podcast.
didn't feel like so much time has passed. I'm
Yeah.
just checking.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm. That's the best testament to you
Whoa.
personally.
No,
Because
thank you.
didn't feel like
Yeah.
like a podcast typical or like a long
It was
conversation.
a good conversation. to
Yeah.
have. It was a
Yeah,
conversation.
Good
Yeah.
conversation.
Didn't realize time passed by.
Yeah, they were
honestly.
very apprehensive in the beginning, I must say. They were like, is it going to be serious? Will it be an interview? Are you going to be like a teacher or a journalist sitting on a head? I'm like, please wait, let me do my job. It's my thing.
Yeah.
No, but
No,
yeah,
you graded it.
thank you. But I had a great time. I wish you all the very best for all the store launches, everything else that you guys are set out to do, and for more success coming your way. Thank you so much for everyone who's tuned in till this point. But before you leave, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Dhairya Decodes channel. That's it for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.